Good evening, Capsuleers. How is everybody tonight? Kipla, Mad Dog, Mulsaki, Flack, Spectre Void, Night Flyer, Hand Fixar, Spectre Void, Gabriella. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. As the title suggests, we are doing a recap of this weekend's AT tournament. Me and Chad Flame went over all, I think it was 38 matches total, and selected our favorite 9 or 10. I think we got 9 or 10 total to go through tonight. So you guys should be thoroughly entertained. If you guys have any questions about, hey, what does this ship do? Why is this ship good? Why is that ship bad? Absolutely ask the question. I can't promise we get to every question, but I will try to bring up your questions with the guys in chat. J1tah! Hey, J1tah, if you're wanting to join us, just hop in Discord. Chad's already here. I think we may also get one other team captain. I don't want to say their name in case they don't show up so it doesn't put them on the spot. But we got one other team captain possibly attending, whose match we will be reviewing as well. There's J1tah. J1tah, I'm not quite in comms just yet. I'm just warming up here, and then I'll be with y'all. Exclamation mark draw for a chance at a Vedmax Soap Syndicate skin, courtesy of CCP, now that I'm in the partner program. Yeah! Also, if I can direct your attention to the emojis, for those of you who are subscribed to the channel, you should see a whole slew of new emojis, courtesy of Zast. If you guys know him, Mr. Zast or RS Zast here on Twitch. He's the guy that made my channel logo, the little Grim Reaper dude on a golden cloud. He made me a whole set of brand new emojis for y'all. My personal favorite, the shill. Check out that shill emoji. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Flackbait. There we go. See, now I have cool emojis for you guys to enjoy if you subscribe. I made sure to include a few free ones. So for just the followers, you don't have to pay for everything. So did anybody get to see the AT this weekend, or is it going to be fresh for everybody? Holy God, that was loud. That was very loud. Thank you so much, Mad Dog, for 500 bits. That put the hype train in play. We need one more individual to donate to the stream to get the hype train going. I do give extra prizes for hype trains. It does not appear that this is a golden hype train, unfortunately. But if we get up to level 5, I will include a large skill injector to the giveaway, and I can cover that all tonight. Hello, Roki. You watched today, not yesterday. Yeah, we got, I think the best ones were from yesterday. Well, I say that, a couple of really good ones today, but we had a whole lot of candidates from yesterday's stream. A lot of flagships got fielded, and a lot of flagships got destroyed. One flagship in particular may be the most blingy flagship to have ever died. Yeah, the 185 billion flagship. Was that the record, or have there been blingier flagships? I'm gonna have to ask Chad. Chad was saying that it was the blingiest. We got 2 minutes left for the early bird giveaway. Exclamation mark draw for a chance at a Vedmax Scope Syndicate skin. So with the AT, are there fitting rules outside of the flagship? A few, yeah. You can only use T2 modules. Certain ships only certain ships are allowed to mount E-War, specifically ships that have a bonus for the E-War in question, or at least a few. Like, you can't use target disruptors or sensor dampeners on a ship that's not bonused for it. Yeah, there are a lot of rules. Chad's better at explaining that than me, and we'll get him on comms here as soon as we do the initial giveaways.
That's where they're gonna go, so they don't get lost. I feel like they're look around.
20 seconds left. Exclamation mark draw for a chance at a Vedmax Scope Syndicate skin. Don't let this golden opportunity pass you by. And Sophie is being loud. Zamard, congratulations. You just won a Scope Syndicate skin. Oh, I should know. It's Reagan, right? Reagan Caldwell? Yep, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it before you said it. Confirmed. Reagan Caldwell. Let me get that to you real fast. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me today. We will be giving away another skin. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. We will give away another Vedmax skin here in about an hour and a half, about halfway through this recap stream, and then we'll give away a third at the end of the recap stream before we start the regular stream. Let me get back in comms. All right, folks, give me a second. And we're live. They can hear you. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
We got Chad Flame, BrotherGrimoire, and J1tah here with us. And I believe Krimson, the team captain of Deepwater Hooligans, will be joining us here very shortly. I just messaged him about it. Let me double check. All right, I'll get to the correct screen.
I may have something interesting about the Deepwater Hooligans versus Hole Control match, actually.
Yeah, I thought that would be nice that we have you both here for that one.
Hey,
All right.
Chad. Let me pick your brain off stream because we got some esports related questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What esports?
Specifically about Eve in the esports world.
Okay.
So I figured I'd just pick your brain about this off stream. That way, it's not I don't necessarily know if it's the place.
Gotcha.
It's fine. I mean, are you asking the viability of Eve content in an esports scene, like a competitive esports scene?
Sort of. I was really looking for some opinions as far as you know, do you think it's viable? Do you think there's anything that CCP can do to help
Thank you, Chad.
incentivize the adoption of Eve online esports teams?
Here's what my response to this is. If you look at most esports communities, they are run based on the fact that players of that community or whatever game they're playing will join up with an organization that is external from the game for the most part, representing that organization and getting paid by said org to perform in front of a live audience versus per se the EVE aspect currently is based on alliances of in-game players doing that. I think it is a viable thing to do that, where there'd be an external, like people go sign with an external company. I don't think EVE has enough of a player base, so like to do something like that competitively, being the older game that it is, you'd have to continue like CCP's Alliance Tournament. The alliances are in game versus esports. The Oregon orgs you'd be playing under are external, so it would have to be viable to get enough orgs to be interested, while also finding a balance in the game to do that.
Right. Some thoughts that I had on it was, as it stands, we all have years of experience in this game, years of accumulated skill points. So anything on the live server is going to immediately put prospective players at a disadvantage.
I mean, we have TD, to be honest. Which is, yeah.
I was thinking maybe, and I don't know, this is all just kind of spitballing. I'm interested in it because I have close relationships with people in the esports world.
Is there a freaking ship?
Oh yeah, you were talking about, well, the college scene.
Yeah, my
I like that stuff.
so a very close friend of mine, we're basically brothers at this point. He is the director of esports for a decently sized university here where I live. They have multiple campuses, multiple esports programs. Like, so each campus has their own program, enough that they can actually like interact with each other and practice and yada yada yada. So if there was a spot to start it, you know what I mean? Like we have somewhere to try a pilot program, and so I'm getting opinions and I'm getting thoughts. I mean, that's all the same thing. But basically, I'm just asking around.
Well,
you'd have to get orgs interested in the whole thing. Also, you'd have to have it connected through. I would like, if that is something you're actually seriously thinking could happen, I would talk to Zealous about that. I just don't think EVE has the following to be a place where orgs would want to spend money, because orgs would lose money investing into
J1tah, you have a fan in chat.
the you'd probably lose money as an org investing into EVE esports. So
well,
do I
that's
think
where
it's something
collegiate
that
would
could
be.
happen? Yes. Do I think it'd be successful? Probably not, but there always is hope, kind of thing.
Right.
Versus like the setup they have now, there's no pressure, there's no need for orgs. It's funded by the players themselves, and that's just how it be. Also, Krimson's here. Welcome. I haven't seen you a lot recently.
Yes, welcome, Krimson. Thank you so much for joining us, captain of Deepwater Hooligans. We'll be watching one of his matches. Actually, the match with him and J1tah in it.
Hi, hello.
Grudge match.
All right. Well, the first match I've got pulled up is the Paper Numbers versus Till Doomsday match. I believe this was today, match 16 of the day. Yeah, Chad, if you want to break it down, what we're seeing on the screen.
Sure.
I'll go see if you can read the private.
Shield Kite.
Yeah, I saw it. Give me a second. Hold up.
Thing.
By the way, hi Krimson. GG, by the way.
Hello. Hello.
Was a good match.
Yes,
There's
yes.
a lot of good matches this weekend.
Closer than it looked.
A lot of flagships down.
Yeah, it was actually really close.
Krimson, what happened? I wanted to buy freaking AT ships from you.
Tell me about it.
Wait, you guys have AT ship money?
I wish.
I'm in the wrong place. It's like the poor guy that's like.
Chad is like the Jay Leno of the EVE world. He has a whole garage of these things.
Yeah.
I think his prized possession is his Laylaps, but I think he would disagree.
Does he also have the Jay Leno chin?
No. But I do have the Raiju. Tis that is my possession. Even though it's the cheap boy of the group, it's I just like it because it's got some really interesting kills on it. But yeah, no, this is pretty standard shield kite versus a mid-range projection with more of a top-end get a navy. I believe that's is that a flag get a navy in this match?
I
don't know if
believe it
anyone else
is.
knows offhand.
I believe so. I should have written down which ones had flagships or
I
not.
think that is the flag get a navy, and it's full newt fit actually. Yeah, it's a flag get a navy full newt fit.
Still Doomsday is my team last year, by the way. Played with those guys. Or I should say most of them.
All right, let me go ahead and play this.
Interesting concept running the full nude flag at Navy.
I don't like the mid lane at all.
Yeah. Can't say I do either.
I looked at the statistics with that today and pointed out to the analysts. 2 and 3 on full newt get a navies, and that this is the one match, and it still didn't look good in this match, in my opinion.
Could have been a polygon.
I just don't like the full newt commit. It just doesn't. Nowadays, it just doesn't do what it used to.
I don't like the double prophecy Navy Org.
Oh yeah, I feel like there could have been a better lineup than the double Navy Prof.
But they did ban Harp and Prudix Navy themselves.
Right.
It's almost like they projected that
Good night,
they
Rob.
didn't want to see gunboat, with the Octodad kind of set up, and then they brought something similar to it themselves, which is weird because it's actually more of a drone comp.
And here we see paper numbers going after the low end, focusing the Inquisitor and the Retribution.
Oh, and I also really don't like the Retribution. And there's the T1, T2 logic.
Then
If you're gonna run a freaking if you're gonna just a tackle fit, which I think they're just trying to still run projection on it, the Vengeance just does a way better job tackle fit.
Yes.
and see that
not
the
the- yeah, I
power of the flagship Armageddon, they just neuted out that Osprey, couldn't move, couldn't run away, couldn't turn on its hardeners, just dead in the water.
That's something else I noticed too. Like this match especially, it seemed like a lot of teams running really passive fit Logis, but 0 rep bots on their team. I was like, that's different.
Manticore down. No more torpedoes for you. That is a bomber, right? No, the Manticore's not a bomber.
Yeah,
What am I
Yeah.
thinking of?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So Doomsday just sniping the low end.
that was what was weird too. Is they went with a double cyclone that was pointed out on the desk afterwards. It was like the double cyclone plus claymore combo seemed very odd.
That Orthrus seems really out of position. Now it's getting swarmed by blue drones right here.
And to be honest, there's no good position on this grid. Because they have the projection.
You
You just
basically
stay moving. That's your position. Stay moving.
stay moving 90 away and hope that they just don't have the DPS, but they always will. With no Logi on your grid, like I will say, like the ONI actually positioned really well here. In a minute.
I mean, it's a good try, but it's very easy execution for till Doomsday. Just control the middle and shoot.
Yeah, control the middle, pick a target. Versus paper numbers actually had to attempt to be really good pilots here.
I mean, to their credit, that Osprey lived a lot longer than you would expect it to.
I mean, Park is like a really good logic pilot.
Park's top 5 Logi in the game, no questions asked. I will say, like, paper numbers did a really good job right here of like kinda like trading that low end. They lost theirs, and then they actually really pulled back on getting rid of Till Doomsday's low end.
I actually went for a
Really good.
smoke between the match, and I come back to this. I'm
You're like,
like,
oh, this one's over. I'm going for a smoke. Come back. Oh, wait, it ain't over.
yeah, pretty much. I see my dude's losing.
I don't know. I feel like this also could have been an entirely different match if they chose not to do Manticore Crow, but instead maybe went like Mawless Crucifier.
I think Ortrus is weird as well.
I don't just like a lot of teams really like the Orthrus ONI combo for the double rapid lights to try and penetrate something in the low end. But I will say from like watching that happen, a lot of teams have not succeeded with that. Like Radicos was doing that with his Jackdaws, and it worked a few times, like in scrims and stuff like that. But there was other times where it was just like it's just not working. It's
Because
just
that
not
could have
enough.
been, yeah, that could have been a double Navy Osprey with heavy missiles.
Yeah.
I also feel really weird about running HML Kite without like a semi straight up.
Yeah, that is also true.
Yeah.
The Osprey is valid, I would say.
Yeah, when you're doing quad BC.
Also, another thing, like running that Osprey, what I see a lot of teams do, what our team does, is they will run the passive tank Osprey, but field all rep drones to, you know. But there's not a single rep bot on this grid for paper numbers.
And I think the passive Osprey is the optimal for it. It's not meant to live through the match, it's meant to...
This is where I got really confused, because like nothing is a really good target for paper numbers to shoot. But they just went, like, shot everything here. Like, they didn't sit down and focus on something. Like, every single ship is getting shot.
Yeah,
I felt like they could have took a prof with them, you know what I mean?
I think this just devolved into solo PvP, which is fine at this point, like an endgame like this. I think you
One of the
just go
cyclones
solo.
got caught up at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at it, even when I was watching it live earlier today, it just, like you guys said, it was pretty much solo PvP. It was kind of like you had your own little battlefield in one section, like down there at the bottom, you've got your prophecies and stuff. Then you had your Geddon up top.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
everything was really scattered.
Yeah, some matches just kind of go into that where you basically just devolve into, and you just make a call. You go, okay, everybody goes solo.
Most of the time, though, when you're doing that, it's like this guy's tackled off with this guy's tackled off with that guy. It's like guns versus guns or hams versus guns. If you're running heavy, so you should be able to, you project enough, hopefully, where you're not getting caught 100 away from your own guys or staying, 100 away, and everyone's shooting everyone. Like, but I mean, I was just sitting there and on the comms, my AT comms, well, in the arena watching this, I'm like, oh my god, if you guys don't stop splitting damage, you're just killing my heart right now. Because I kind of want paper numbers to win this.
I also feel that there might be some despair going on.
Yeah.
Because some grids you just look and, there's no way.
The panic is setting in.
Right now, like the second that Cyclone fleet got caught, I'm sure paper numbers, like someone was slamming something probably. I don't know. Not gonna say that they were, but like I would be very frustrated at that point because you just probably are not gonna bring it back. Like that's the defining moment of this match is like we couldn't fully kite this.
Yeah, I think Till Doomsday also split like way more than I anticipated.
Yeah. They actually did like you said though, like I don't think their comp was hard to execute against this paper numbers comp. They did a fairly good job with it, but it didn't take a ton.
I feel like they kind of baited this with their own bans.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. No, we don't want to see it, and we're not going to bring it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then they bring it anyway, and it's like, gotcha.
It's kind of funny that Curse Sentinel ban actually helps them in this situation too.
Mata says if they didn't split DPS, they probably could have killed one of the prophecies.
But they do kill him.
Because it's so low.
Yeah,
I mean,
they do kill him by match end. But you'd think they might have been able to kill the flag Geddon if they went all in on it. It's a risky call, but like at least get a moral victory at the end of the day, I guess.
Yeah, maybe because one of the Fleet Cyclones was stuck up top with the Navy Geddon on top of it. Maybe if the rest of the team would have committed to him being caught up there,
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm sure that like at some point they're just like, it's over. Who cares?
Yeah, it was like that turning point in every match where everybody just knows.
That's another thing. I don't know. You guys might feel different on this. I don't know. Some teams I feel like don't want to lose any ships even if the match is over because like ISK, it's actual ISK that you.
I mean, we saved the Varger in Dusker's match.
But that's actually worth some ISK versus like a Fleet Cyclone for AT fittings are not like overly
fair.
expensive.
Yeah.
I'd personally be like, who gives a shit? Like it's content, yeet, whatever. But it was actually not a bad match out of the like. If that's the Ghost,
It was definitely a cliffhanger.
Did you put them in order, like from least suspenseful to most suspenseful?
No, they're just. I'm just kind of. They're in
Okay, I was gonna say,
alphabetical
if you
order
did
at the
that,
moment.
and this is like the first match. Like, oh gosh, we're in for a ride tonight.
No, I'm just kind of grabbing them at random. Since we've got J1tah and Krimson here, I was thinking maybe doing theirs next or the one after the next one. J1tah also provided me with a clip. So this is your comms?
Yeah, that's my POV and my comms.
That's awesome. We'll check
So you
that
get
out
to
too.
see all the fuck ups I make.
And this is the same match as the Deepwater Hooligan match? Yep.
Yes.
Wow.
And I am sorry if there's something we say, mean things.
We're not gonna break TOS, are we? That's all.
No.
Okay.
But about our opponents, it's a battle comms.
Man was channeling his inner gamer. He was just dropping bombs left and right.
It's as expected when you're mid-match, so
Oh, this was.
Yeah, let's show the next one will be the Truth Honor Light versus Exodus. This wasn't the best of the two, but this one was still a really good one. Want to break it down? What we're seeing here?
Someone other than me.
I just love the fucking fact that they called Domar to play because he was in Fiston meetup.
Wait, really?
During this weekend, yeah. So he's either very drunk or extremely hangover, or should be rather.
What's really funny to me is that when I saw Hydra field their team, I knew Dex was off their team this year, and it's really interesting. And I assumed something like this would happen, where Amelia would take over the high end calling, and Casper was taking over the low end calling in the other matches. But Casper's not even in this match, so it was kind of interesting, wondering how. Like they're a good unit to begin with, but it's definitely interesting. I did not expect to see this kind of comp either.
Yeah, my two.
I was actually
favorite
kind of expecting this from Hydra.
I know. I really liked Exodus's comp, the Balgorn with Vindicator.
I fucking hate it.
And that was
a triple fellowship.
Hmm.
It should go into the trash can and die.
I like my battleship comps, but the
There's
Vindicator
only
was
one.
Was the Vindicator a flagship?
No.
Okay, there wasn't a flagship in this one. Trying to remember.
If it has a triple BS.
Not be fucking Exodus. I don't think Exodus would field a fucking Vindy as a flagship. That's just not their style.
Yeah.
Like their flagship screams Bargust, like everybody else apparently.
I mean, Bargast is very good, but yeah, I think the Kingslayer is the only good triple battleship comp in the current meta.
And what about these bands? Like, so the Sleipnir's just all around powerful, pretty much key for the Flycatcher comp.
Yeah, Fly Killer plus Rush.
And then Curse is just annoying all around. You don't want to deal with Disruption or Newts. Yeah. The Loki's the one I don't understand. Why would you ban a Loki?
You know, this is what's kind of funny. Seeing, like, the Truth Honor Light bans, I 100% think they're trolling. Maybe I'm crazy, but I know last year there was, like, a joke that was made about them banning a Stratios. Like, that just seems kind of funny to ban all T1 Logi.
So they're either trolling or they were pulling the whole like we think the other team's gonna ban T2 Logi,
Yeah.
banning out all Logi. I think the only reason
I love the stuff they do because it's like sometimes they just give off that we don't care attitude. We'll do whatever.
we'll just outpilot you no matter what.
Well,
That's
that's
something I
also
noticed.
something they're the best team at putting something together from nothing. Like they can make anything work. That's what they're good at. So why not just do that?
Yeah, I mean it's the first Shield Octo that we've seen, or variant, right? So far.
This is on the what the fuck? What do they call this? My god, I should. My god, I.
And it's basically just a shield max threat with Frogs maybe.
Yeah.
What were you gonna ask, brother?
Well, I was just gonna point out that like right off the rip, and we saw this a couple times during the AT. The hyena just gets fucking headshot. Everybody just kind of agrees that needs to go.
Webs be.
Yeah, hyenas are just. It's like a mini Hugin.
Right.
Sad.
So it would be
Webs
used to
would be cool.
screen.
Or you can use it like in this sense. I think Exodus would want to be getting on top of them. They can really use that to get webs on a target, and that'll allow the Bell and the Vindy to get on top of whatever they wanted to. Which I still thought Exodus didn't do a horrible job of doing for the situation.
Have you guys seen the Navy exec fit, by the way, of this comp?
Mhm.
It's pretty good. Has a cap transfer.
Yeah, it's like 800 DPS.
Yeah, and it has a
It
cap
is.
transfer.
Yeah.
That's kind of huge in a shield comp, to be honest.
It's that's the funky things where it's like we can just make whatever we want out of nothing.
But yeah, I mean, if you have a hyena and the opponents have 8 racks of medium guns, that hyena be gone.
Right. And it's a pest. Like Mad Dog was pointing out in chat, Chad Hammercock was using those girthy webs to great effect. All the casters were very excited about that.
Excited to say his name.
What team was he
It's
on?
great because you
'Cause
can
I'm pretty
say
sure-
his name. He's on Bounder Experts.
Okay, I think we've got one of theirs.
Dude, listen, it's the best thing ever when you can get away with saying something that's semi-controversial on a CCP stream, and then just abusing it. And that's one of the reasons, like, we love Chad Hammercock. It's because you
I
can
mean,
just say
everybody loves
Hammercock.
Chad Hammercock.
It's
The
just
best name in the game.
It's the greatest Chad name around.
Let's just not introduce him to my wife, okay?
Okay, so at this point, it looked like Exodus could turn this around, but their Balgorn just that Balgorn's just still too far,
Died so fast,
and they
like,
just didn't get enough value for it.
Damage bar is still through the roof. Like, you lose 3 battle cruisers and your damage bar still looks like that. The power of shield.
Plus the double exec navies. So those are shield exec navies.
Yep.
In about 5 seconds, you're about to say they were shield exec navies. Were they actually shield fit is the question, with how quick they died.
I mean, even if they were, they'd still die quick because it's not meant to be that way.
Can't remember, was it this much or some else? But we were actually talking about this. That they should have killed the Abaddon earlier when they still had the mod ETS. Because grinding through that is gonna be a pain in the ass. Like, they should have gone for the Abaddon instead of the Windy or the Ball. I can understand the Ball, to be honest, but the Windy is kind of weird.
I agree, as long they're faster than the Vindy. Now the hyenas down, just kill the bow and move to the projection.
But it could have been just positioning.
Yeah. I mean, they did, which is really interesting, by the way, those cruises. Like, a good point, I think Mystical Might made on the Dusk was like, or Blackbard actually made it, I think. You know, cruises, you're shooting 80 and now you could shoot 60. Like, they didn't do as much as I think people were expecting them to.
Yeah, and those cruisers should not have died
I agree with
in
that
this
too.
match.
Like, right now, I agree, because, like, there's not a lot of stuff left. They probably could have TD'd it down to enough to kite and live.
I think Exodus had a very good chance to win this. I think they actually had an advantage when it comes to comp, specifically because of the Abaddon. But they just
This is
Yeah,
why I
for
was
a while there, I
questioning,
thought I
I'm
just
like,
had it.
can this Abaddon tank grid? You know what I mean? I'm like, can it actually tank grid enough to kill stuff? And I'm like, the Osprey's dying quick. Maybe there's a hope.
I mean, at this point, not really. They
I
can
mean,
just
if you
guide
get
him
rid of
out.
the Osprey and like per se the Phantasm enough, I think you can tank a Vulture with the reactive. But
Kind of expecting Hydra just stop shooting at this point and take the 69 points win.
well, I was
Oh
sitting in
God,
comms too.
yeah.
I was sitting in comms too, and I'm like, oh my God, are they seriously just gonna like fight 75 away and just like sit there the whole game? I'm like, I really freaking hope that they're not just gonna like stop shooting and just let time run out and not risk it. I'm like, I really don't want to see that.
Then they all write nice in chat.
Yes.
Giggity.
Well, I mean, even the caster when he was talking about how many Alliance tournament fights this guy's been in, even he was like, nice.
It's the running joke, right?
Oh, of course. And I just watched the CCP Twitch chat scroll with just nice. Oh, it was wonderful.
Now that chat gets very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, especially during your own matches when you watch the replay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and you're just like everyone's calling you out, and you're like, shut up.
Well, with Deepwater, we usually get where's the Sino.
That's
Oh, that's what they were saying for Snuffed.
I was gonna say, at least yours is
Yeah.
in Twitch chat and not in local chat. Okay.
I know my time in Amencia, I said a few bad things about y'all. I apologize.
I mean, it's
Want
no,
to
in the
contact
spirit of the
Deepwater
game, right?
Hooligans as much
But then
as
again,
possible.
the joke was on me because at the time I was forced to defend Black Rose, which nobody liked.
Oh yeah, it's unfortunate.
I'm just glad Twitch chat didn't find out that I'm from Purple Helmet Warriors.
Oh God, you
Yeah, it's true. I would have had fun with that one.
died to many of your team members too.
Oh my gosh.
During the Tuskers match, one of the casters actually said that me and Tehe were both from Tuskers, which is false. I am not. He is. I'm just a guy who flies a ship.
We all at the end of the day. Gosh. Nah, I was actually like really pulling for Exodus to win this match. I wanted to see an early exit.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
very much.
I actually put all my channel points on Exodus. I think I put
I
like
did.
4
I put
channel
some.
points on Exodus.
Here we go. All right, we'll do this one next.
Oh,
Hole Control versus Deepwater Hooligans. Would you guys like to say anything
Time to
before we
rub
watch
it in.
this?
Gotta rub it in here.
This was
Better
such a
rub
good
it
match.
in and rub it out.
Like I said, this was probably one of my favorites of the weekend. Top 2 or 3, definitely. But so you got Hole Control. Y'all opted to ban the Sleipnir, Scimitar, Barghest, Oneros, getting rid of those T2 logistics ships that are so powerful. The Barghest, honestly, I think is always a good choice to ban, just in general. But it looks like they were able to get past it by putting you guys used a flagship Barghest.
Yeah. What did you guys expect us to bring? Actually, I'm curious.
So, well, first off, when our bans were actually targeted towards, we wanted to run HML Kite until you banned Simi. I think we were planning. I thought you guys were going to bring your flag, so we were planning on running into like we thought it was gonna be like a double battleship setup, like or maybe like well, we thought for sure you're bringing your Bindi, so we were somewhat planning around it. And when we began getting Navy, as we were wanting to run HML Kite, and then we almost, even after coming the bans back, we almost switched to our Shat comp again, like we did the first match.
Yeah, we were actually expecting a Kingslayer.
Yeah, and it's so funny because when you guys banned Barghest, I'm like, I said it on comms. I said, I feel like we're being baited. I said, I seriously feel like we're being baited right now.
Mind games at their finest.
And I'm like, maybe they don't think we're being baited, and they want us not to bring the Barghest. I think I psyched myself out. Yeah.
Yeah, basically this Lape Simi ban is to ban HML Kite and Min Mirage. The Oneiros is just hard for us because we're mostly rails and the Barghest is the bait.
Yeah. We were 100% going HML Kite. Like that was the plan for this match. Until the Simi got banned. And then so there was also a question about like it was either run Kingslayer or switch the Simi into a different Logi and kite with it, but I didn't really like the idea, so.
We love the fact that you guys banned the Armani.
Oh, yeah. Banning it's very hard to run. We got slayed a lot in scrims with HML kite running into that. But even with so obviously the Balgorn was not the like first target we wanted. It was not even close to what we wanted to shoot.
Yeah, we know. That's why we pushed it forward.
Yeah, and I'm like, it kept getting closer, and I'm like, I told everybody on comms, I'm like, I said, this is baiting. They're baiting the Balgorn. They want us to shoot the Balgorn. And I was just watching your Guardian. I'm like, if he creeps like 50, 60 in front, I said, let's just give it to him one clip and see how he holds. And then as soon I know the Balgorn, so he was taking big chunks. Like you guys were taking big chunks there. I think maybe the second clip in. I don't know. We'll see. But I felt like I was being baited, but we weren't getting GD'd or anything. So it's still a lot of damage from 2 TIE-5s and a Barghest.
Now, from a Logi POV, I noticed right off the rip, the Hyena and the Scalpel were both receiving shield Logi. Hadn't been touched yet. I can only assume that your Logi pilots had it in mind that a lot of volleys would start coming to the small stuff's way. We've seen that a lot. I just thought that was actually really cool.
Usually in a match,
little details.
Usually in a match, you'll have your Logi pilot will know, or you'll tell your Logi pilot like, you need to snowflake this guy immediately. He's the most vulnerable target on grid. Like, and we want him to live. So like, you'll pre-rep it. Like, you'll instantly lock him and pre-rep him, just hoping that they don't get volleyed. It might not always
preheat,
go that way, but it's better to be smart.
You're not even taking the assumption they're not going to. That is the first person that's going to get your reps, whether they get shot or not.
Look at that, Balgorn getting ready to look some crispy.
So this is this the end of the first clip or second clip?
This is the first clip, I believe.
First clip, okay. Yeah, so like you can see how far he got down, and then we went on reload, and then I think see our Hyena dove on the Guardian. I don't know how far away your Guardian was at this point.
It was very close to our backline.
Yeah, I knew it was like it was a ways down there, and we had it somewhat controlled with the Hyena.
Then your Hyena just dies. It's like, woof, that kind of.
It was it was pretty inconvenient timing because like we go and reload as the Hyena's dying. Like we should have just delayed it a little bit. And this is where I think
because you're clipped anyways, kind of thing.
Yeah, and at this point, like there was a split-second decision to put another clip into the Balgorn, and it should have just been maybe switch to the ENIs. Like that was the 2 decisions that were coming up that I made.
Yeah, we were actually kind of ready for you guys to switch to the ENIs, which is why you can actually see me and Ives kind of staying back.
Yeah.
But once Scarab starts taking damage again, we push in and
so you wanted them to commit on the Balgorn at that point.
Yes.
Bait Balgorn, 100%.
Yeah.
So the first clip was low armor, second clip was in the hull, in the high hull, and the third clip he jumped.
And I remember casting this match, and I was like, y'all need to get the Alex said, get the camera on the Balgorn. I was just staring at the Balgorn's HP, watching how freaking crispy it got around this point.
Yeah, and I still think there was probably a chance to switch off and not put the third clip into it. I think that was the biggest mistake, was putting the third clip. But this is the point where once it hit halt and we started about to go on reload, this is the call that was made for the TIE-5s to ram and Newt, to try to keep the Balgorn's hardeners off.
Now, what was the rationale behind the Skybreaker? I saw it a couple different times over the weekend.
Very cheap, and Versatile.
It's 2 points, a lot of mids, and destroys rep drones pretty well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually very tanky in a shield comp because of the resist bonuses you can actually.
It's like 5
even
mids
in
for
an-
2 points.
Even in
It's
an
4
armor
mids,
comp,
but
if you
don't
got
have
2
to fit it
points,
properly.
you know.
Oh yeah, it's just good at clearing ECM rep bots.
Yeah, it's
And
not a bad little tackle ship
can
too. You
use
know,
it.
put a web on it.
Yeah, like
Yeah, it's got EHP
Okay.
if you shield fit it, and it's got a great amount of utility.
if they're running a bunch of light drones that you can snipe, you snipe them. If not, you're an extra tackle.
I mean, it's
You know-
pretty much the most value you can get out of 2 points.
You know what's crazy is like y'all rammed in with those to get newts on. I feel like if you managed to get that other clip off, you might actually killed the battle.
We're actually slightly panicking before the Typhoon broke,
'Cause,
which
like,
you
that
will
battle
hear.
was not holding.
Yeah, it would have been close because I think we got our other TIE fighter got newts on the Guardian at 1.2.
But something you don't know is that Vexor is cap transfer fit.
Yeah, I seen that after the fact. Like I looking back at recording.
Note these people probably watched this match 3 times already since it happened.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple comps where we run Tinker on some of our E-War cruisers, and I swear every single time, like last year, the Templess match that we lost was because of cap transfers, like the whole reason we lost. It's just a hard thing to remember sometimes when you're in the middle of the match.
Yeah, we actually use a lot of cap transfers because we do use Polygon a lot.
Yeah.
And Yiska has a bad habit of ramming Armageddons. But knowing how little we ban the Armani and how good it is, I guess, or how used. Like, we kind of knew that we're going to be brawling under newts. So cap transfers make a lot of sense.
You know, at this moment, I was wondering how much money you spent on this thing.
We don't. So, like to be honest, our flag comps that we use flagships for is not like even one that we
Meant
like
to do
particularly
with.
like to run a lot. Like you know what I mean? It's not like we have other comps that we prefer to run, and you know that I don't know. So we don't go and just put like 50, 60 bill into Vargas like you know some teams do, I guess. But
I was also gonna say, without spilling too much, ended up scrimming you a few times, and this was not what I was expecting to see, to say the
yeah,
least. Like, I
it's
saw your flag in other comps, you know what I mean? And I was like, I kind of have an idea what your flit was because it died. And I was like, I wonder if that's what they're actually using.
yeah.
We spent 120 bill on the Windy.
Yeah,
Spent, and then you didn't even buy guns.
How much would have
Why
our
would-
Vendy? Sorry, Chad. How much would have our Vendy have been if we had gotten to use it?
Mind you, Z-kill numbers are a lot different. I think ours would have popped up on Z-kill for like 176. Or sorry, 76 bill. I think I spent like 130.
Oh, and when the Windy died, it only had one Cormax max tab. We bought 2. We had 2, but we decided to fit another
one off.
plate. Yeah.
I don't disagree with the plate option personally.
If you're gonna spend that much money,
Man, you
spend it
could've
on the
just bought
tank
my
first.
officer
You know,
guns.
keep it
You
alive.
could have bought my officer guns, my dudes.
Nah, officer blasters are worthless, to be honest.
It's nice to just be like,
Nah.
money, though. Like, spend money. Like, waste money. You know
We
what I mean?
did.
Look cool.
Do testing with rail Windy, and
Oh,
it's
God.
not very good.
No, one of the guys that's on my team, he's like my secondary guy when it comes to theory crafting, and he's like, I want rails on my everything, and I'm like, dude, for the love of God, I'm not throwing rails on a Vindicator. He's like, why not? Projection is key, and I'm like, no, the Vindicator is good because of its webs and damage. If you're going railboat, like you're getting rid of the point of like web and kill with blasters.
Who was the team that ran the Talos with their Octo?
Oh, we'll see that today.
Oh yeah, Arrival. Yes, that's on the on the list to see.
That's on the
yeah.
list.
But since he offered it and we just watched it, I want to pull up the Hole Control point of view of that last match with the comms.
I don't actually remember what we say
Mm-hmm.
during the match.
Quote, get fucked,
I know it's
Deepwater.
us, internally, but I hope we don't call you out. Like too
Filthy
hard.
mouth breathers, the whole nine, dude.
I
It's coming.
enjoy the cluttered UI. It looks very much like mine. All right, I'm gonna play it.
Let's do.
Just let me know if you need me to pause it, Jita.
Nah, just let it go.
God, that hyena was really not.
Yeah.
The mid game was fucking insane.
This is so good. I love hearing these behind the scenes comms.
Like I think both me and Dable were like feeling the despair when nothing was breaking. Like we knew you're gonna reload soon.
Yeah. I don't know. There was like a split second where I thought maybe we should bait shoot the bow and switch, but I thought we could still kill it through the reps.
Yeah, it
It's
was
not
very
over.
close
It's
to dying.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mute that up because at this point it's kind of clean up, right? But yeah, that's very cool. I'm gonna link that video in chat. Is that a
No,
public
don't
video?
please.
Okay, never
Please
mind.
don't.
That is not a public video. Never mind. Sanitize. Nobody clip it. I think the URL was partially blocked. I hope. Anyway, I should have clarified that with you before playing it. Anyway, but
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. I have a easier time digesting it when I'm seeing it from a player POV because it kind of looked like that hyena was really separated when he died. Was what I was kind of mentioning there. Was there a reason he was so far?
Yeah, so she made the call to dive kind of. I mean, she's a pretty good hyena pilot and has always done well for us in the past. It's when we were committing on the bow, and I said the Guardians, 60 off or 50 off or whatever they were, and was still kind of moving downwards. Like she kind of made the call to just hold it back, and we were hoping we'd finish the bow before she died, which didn't end up being the case, obviously.
yeah, we were staring at the hyena because we knew that
Yeah.
this match I don't want to watch. I'm gonna go pee. Right back.
Yeah, no vacancies versus hole control. The
yeah,
Varger.
The hyena
I was rooting for you. I
biggest-
love this comp. Sorry, I'm talking over you.
Yeah. So the hyena was the biggest single threat to our logi, which was 100 MN Guardian.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes sense then.
So yeah, we had pretty much all the mid lane pilots were staring at the hyena and like paying attention where it is. Actually, you can hear me asking where's the hyena at some point when I lose it. So like the dive was noticed very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Well, that makes more sense. The 100 MN thing.
But in regards to this match, I don't know. I was rooting for you. I saw that latch. I was like, oh, that latch is going to do work. And it started off looking like it was, but without spoiling it, I won't go into too much detail how it played out. I see you banned the Balgorn. Good all-around choice. Simi again. Barghest again, a good all-around choice. Nighthawk. If you haven't left, what was the idea behind the Nighthawk ban? He may have left. Okay.
That's usually banning Rush.
Mm-hmm.
Ham Rush.
And then no vacancies. Got rid of the Blackbird. Good choice. Everybody hates ECM. Mollis is a dampener, correct? Same with the Kiris.
Yep.
And then Exeg Navy's just been super powerful this tournament. That point deduction it got for the Galente theme, really paying off. People can double up on them easy. Really good damage at range, or if you're so inclined, you can throw blasters on it and rush and do 1,000 DPS. I don't think anybody's done that successfully, though.
Yeah, Exec Navy is a pretty big linchpin for like Octo setup. So it kind of throws a wrench into a lot of those, 8 DPS platforms.
And I know before the match started, my idea is that the latch should be off the bat putting damps on the Arbitrator and the Sentinel, because you don't want to deal with their TDs, especially with the Varger and the Vindicator. You want to be doing max damage with those two guys. Beyond that, I didn't have any thoughts other than going into it, because I'm trying to figure out exactly what No Vacancies is doing. They got two... is that a missile Barghest or just a straight nude, I wonder?
I thought it
You need
was
to get-
interesting.
yeah.
That was talked about in our little back channel. I personally do like the Lachesis, but people are like, why not bring a Celestis instead? But I personally do like the Lachesis a lot for its block range that it has. It's hard to, it like doesn't lose Damp Wars very easily and whatnot. But it's definitely like looking at that like ENI ban personally, like you mentioned a second ago. Like the Vexor Navy isn't really a good ENI replacement. In all honesty, it really isn't. And there's no replacement for it because like 6 points you
The-
have to upgrade.
The
to
Vexor
basically
fills the niche more in the kin to like a mauler. It seems like you almost don't put guns on these things. You put newts and utility on them because they're really tanky and can
Yes,
get on
that is a
something to
newt
stick.
Vexor.
Yeah.
That is actually a newt Vexor Navy, so
Yeah,
It
that's
has
the
no
way to
guns,
go with
yeah.
it for the most part.
I believe it has rep drones. Not sure.
That's what's good about it is it has that nice, drone bay to wash around whatever kind of drones you want in it.
So,
Yeah,
oh
this is
yeah,
the-
a word about bans, by the way, for this. We were actually setting this up for a ham rush. Because we knew they were going to bring the flag. And if we had run the ham rush, we would have probably won. But decided to go with this instead.
I was because I saw those damps coming out. You got the damp on the Arbitrator, damp on the Sentinel, Barg and Armageddon Navy. It just seems like the latch got too close to the Armageddon.
The latch isn't moving at all, and then we're 15 seconds in.
Oh no, I just noticed that too.
Also,
Yeah.
the match started within newt range.
Mm-hmm.
But still,
Which,
like, to not
great.
even, like, click
Yeah.
somewhere.
There he goes.
it
Now
did,
he's moving.
But there was I guess the client lagged or whatever. Like the lag that happens. Sometimes
Yeah.
it just doesn't go through. So basically that happened and nobody noticed.
But the thing that really got me hyped about this match was, I'm casting and I look and I'm like, oh, this is the way to end the day. A flag versus a flag. Like that's the way it needs to be for day 2's ending. Everything on the line.
I'm still salty because this is the match where CCP showed the wrong bands while we were still in the middle of putting our channel points out. And so me and my buddy, we actually have a system. All right. So whichever team recognizes the superiority of the Amar people, by banning more Amar ships, we would put the points on them. And so in the fake bans, the ones that they put forth first, No Vacancy banned a shitload of Amar ships. And then they're like, oh nope, these aren't the right bans, but I already put my points in. So I'm not getting those back.
Well, you won if you put your points on Novak.
Yeah.
But I will say,
Am I backwards?
You might be.
I might be backwards.
I'm pretty sure that they've used the match before bans, and it was like every single ship was Amar in the bans. It was pretty funny. But I will say, like, I was like looking at this match, like wondering how it was gonna go down, and I put my channel points in a very simple way. I look at grid.
Yeah, you get to cheat.
If I want to, I do a little bit, yeah. It's usually pretty easy to pick, though. You either I like to go risk, like, oh, they only have a 12%, channel point vote. I'm just gonna put all my channel points on that team and hope that I get the big return.
By the way,
Right.
we read their comp perfectly. Like we knew exactly what they're gonna bring, and they brought exactly that.
You got the fight you wanted.
Yeah, and then we bet
Got
till like
the-
Jesus.
I know
Bargain.
that feeling. I know
Tackled
that
and
feeling.
everything too. Like you had like everything in your sights at this point, too.
That was pretty much us at the Captain's Cup, right? When we took the Scorpion comp versus Tuskers. We got the fight we wanted.
No, we didn't.
I thought we wanted the missile fight.
We did not want a fucking missile rush. No, we wanted missile kite.
Okay, we almost got the fight we wanted.
But yeah, once we lost the Lachesis, we basically lost all of our options to play the match. We just had to ram the Barghest, which was not great because I was pulling pretty hard. So I had to burn close to 60 kilometers with a battleship with a T2 prop or a meta prop. Just, yeah.
Yeah. Not ideal. And then all the TDs, like, because of that, Lachesis, like you were saying earlier, before we went up on stream, how annoying is it getting TD'd? Do you want to let everyone know? Things
It's like being
what's
twisted with a gauntlet.
like what's worse, getting jammed, getting damped, or getting disrupted?
I mean, jammed. You like my game is bugging. I don't have any. fucking
I personally think damped is the worst, because not being able to target anything, especially as a Logi
I'm gonna
pilot,
actually
sucks.
agree with that. I kind of like agree because at least with like jams, like we always did well against jam camps actually because it was like
Because it seems like damps beat jams. So, if you're getting jammed, hopefully you've got a damp boat, get the jams off you. And
but
same with
also just the
TD.
sake we.
Damps beat TD because you can damp their range.
But I also just didn't. I always thought ECM like it's very annoying, obviously going against ECM, but as long as you can get a fair amount of damage on the ECM ship like those Blackbirds, they do eventually go down. And once they go down, most teams that bring that kind of like B-War setup just don't
You're so
succeed.
close to killing this barg. Oh, we were all
I
like,
thought it
kill
was
it.
down.
Yeah,
I
kill
thought
it.
it was down. I even made the early call that it was gonna die.
So close.
This is why we selected it, because it was like, oh, because there was that point where you could have turned it around if that barg just fucking dies.
I'm sitting here like, I called the flag bark down basically. I was like, there's no way it lives, and I'm like, how in hell is this?
I can tell
thing
you right
pulling
now that
back?
I will not be posting the comms for this match.
That is fair.
Can
That
I
is
ask,
fair.
how violent were y'all against each other at the end?
No,
Because I know how that gets.
we were very violent against the Bargest.
Like that, even if you lose the match, like I said, like killing a flag bar guest is always nice. Even if you're out, it's like okay, at least we like screwed them up a little bit, Like personally, like what I really enjoyed was when we'll see it later. Actually, I'm not gonna spoil.
But yeah, I feel like there was like a sense of despair once we lost the Lachesis. I like realized it's gonna go, and we have to commit.
But
It's
here's
like
the thing,
it
you
felt like
almost
losing.
pulled it back though. Like you know what I mean? Like that. Oh gosh, we're in trouble now. We lost the Lachesis. But then you're like breaking the flag Bargust, like that hope on the horizon feeling.
Hmm.
And it just slowly goes away. It's like the worst feeling ever when you're a team.
Yeah, and
'cause,
then the
like,
Windy got emptied, and we failed a cap job.
I was wondering, actually, maybe you could, insight. Was the Geddon Newts actually really just annoying that Vindy pilot the whole time?
I mean, they were on the Windy, obviously, but like the
Was it
Geddon
just
Newts.
like I'm capped out, because I know sometimes it's never because it's not bonus to strength, but still
Yeah,
like annoying as shit.
I mean it's
Sometimes it hits
mostly
just the wrong
just
time.
annoying, but the Windy eventually did run out of our cap boosters, and we failed a cap job. So
Because
yeah.
I was wondering, like, I feel like the Vindicator it's powered still, and then at the end when it started getting shot, I was like, oh gosh, did they just get him dry? It doesn't feel like the reps are what you'd expect from a,
Yeah,
flag
basically when the
Vindicator.
Bargest stopped dying, that's when the window was emptied.
Yeah, I can see the can out there too.
Yeah.
Oof.
No, that was actually from my barter, because
You're just like, it's a flag Vindy, and we need it to kill this thing.
yeah, the one of the commanders is misclicked and didn't drop, so I had to drop, and it was like 5 km away, so he couldn't load it, and he wasn't moving with that window.
All right, let's do the one with the Talos next. Because, okay, funny story. And actually, I can't tell this story until after we've watched it because it would spoil it. But let's see. Try to break this down a little bit. So you had a rival with the Exeg Navy, really good ban because it's a really good ship. Getting rid of the Augur and the Osprey. Didn't want to see T1 if they wanted. I'm not sure why you banned the T1 variants instead of the T2.
I will give you the answer to that from talking to a lot of pilots that are more like you're saying. Volta's a top tier team, right? And Ryload's probably a top 3 Logi pilot in the game. What a lot of people have talked about over the years is it tends to show those top end Logi pilots that feel really confident have moved away from using T2 Logi and into T1 Logi to save their team points. Because at the end of the day, most of the time, if you're caught or go against a comp that really just can project and kill a Logi cruiser anyways, it doesn't make a huge difference for the amount of points you're spending.
Mhm.
It all comes down to your positioning anyways, and you can position, for the most part, the Scimitar is pretty quick. So I'm not going to say like 100%, but for the most part, you can position just as well in a T1 Logi Cruiser as a T2 Logi Cruiser. It's not a huge difference.
I don't like the Exec Navy ban. To me, banning Exec Navy is like saying that we can't fly it because we're bad. So, and we don't want you guys to fly it because we think you're better. That's what it says to me.
It's kind of funny, actually. ENIs in every comp, man. Like we had ENIs in almost all our comps just because they're so good. They really are.
Like, if you have decent theory crafting, you should have a lot of ANIs in your comps, and you would want to keep it open.
One thing that I thought was interesting, I was talking about this with a lot of people on the desk for Captain's Cup, right? Everyone thought the Geddon was going to be an overused ship and it's overpowered, and kind of how things went at the end of the day, where this ship is great, right? We'll have comps built around it. We're not going to ban it, but if someone else bans it, whatever, we have other options. But we're not going to ban it because we want to use it. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like it's powerful. We don't want to see it. Another team might ban it, but we have comps that are around it because it's very powerful. Like I felt like everyone's like the ENI is just not going to get banned because everyone's going to want to use it because their comps kind of depend around it. It's one of those weird like ban setups, you know, where it's like it's such a good ship.
Yeah, I like both the bans though. Banning HML and the Hamrush.
Here's my interesting. Do you think they nerf ENI after this AT?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because it is like in Fact War space where we live, it's just like unbeatable. It's just unbeatable in any fight.
All the TDs. All
Spike
TDs all day.
head.
Here come the damps from the Celeste, shutting off the Sentinel. Newt's going on the Celeste to shut off the damps. Three-year-old throwing a tantrum. All right, now they're switching Newts. I wonder why they switched Newts to the Harbinger. Probably just the only thing he could get his hands on. Just a whole lot of posturing. Okay, they get Newts on the Unnarrows, trying to shut off those reps. Redeemer's getting all sorts of hate. It's tackled. It's getting painted. The Geddon's getting jammed. Guardian's getting damped. Although I think the Guardian's close enough to deal with the damp, and like it's still healing. Oh god. That Deemer gets so low. But it's catching. See, the armor keeps going back up. He's catching. God, look at all the E-War. The control bar from Volta. Not the biggest control bar we saw, but still pretty impressive.
Now we did also see the Redeemer drop to 0 on the speed.
Oh yeah, why? Yeah, that's the part we're gonna talk about in a bit.
Which one of these? I'm just looking at piles of E-War on that Harbinger right now.
Just trying to get the damage off.
It's like, hey guys, is there another icon you can put on me?
It's Exodia. You get too many, they just auto win, right? If you collect them all.
Yes.
Man, the Redeemer not breaking. It's like has to be rough.
It's not out yet.
Love
They
it.
haven't lost anything. You know, they're holding their position.
At this point, it's pretty much over because everything's neutered.
So
And their core is tackled.
a common ban seems to be the Kiris. I was just kind of scanning down on the side there, and with all the E-War that's going on right now, I feel like the Kiris could have helped either team really avoid some of that.
No, I mean, if they ban it, you still have the Celeste to fall back on.
Right.
And you have the Maulers.
Yeah, and the Maulus. And here... Oh, and the wrecking shot. Oh, the wrecking shot to finish it off. Oh, I was so happy to see that from a Talos. I want to see the combat logs.
What was really funny was Ghosty turns around and says in comms to start the day, like, I really want to see someone just die to a massive wrecking shot. Now I was watching the match, right? And if you're a commentator, what will pop up on your screen is how well the ship's shots hit. It'll actually show that on my screen. If people are grazing, hitting, penetrating, I just saw penetrates, huge hits. I'm like, oof.
Like, that Talos hit an incredible crit streak.
Now, did you have that rolling for the fight that Chad Hammercock was in?
Yeah, Chad's a caster, so he got to sit. You were pretty much on grid for every fight. You just weren't casting for all of them.
Yeah,
well, no, I was talking about the rolling like wrecking shots and stuff like that.
What about them?
No, I was just wondering if you happen to see just rolling up on the screen, you saw any penetrating shots from Chad Hammercock.
He was in a hyena, so his shots.
Sir, you were obsessed with this Hammercock.
I really am. I really am.
Listen, you're excited with his Hammercock, and I'm excited about watching people blow each other in space.
There we are. There's nothing wrong with that. I think we can be friends.
I mean, there's a lot of sucking going on in this group.
There really is.
Everyone's sucking each other off.
I mean, would it be Eve if this wasn't happening?
Exactly.
Gosh.
I don't understand the Omen.
And the fact that the faction that specializes in sucking is also the most religious.
Hey, you know, they spend a lot of time on their knees. Might as well practice while you're down there.
While you're down there, you do a brother a favor.
Jesus is coming. Open your mouth.
Weird.
There is a matured tag on this stream, isn't there? I hope so.
It's kind of fun to see how people get around the whole point system. Well, not even get around, but work within the point system.
Oh, dude, it's like it takes. What's funny is, like, you can go copy everyone else's comps, right? And that's what is, like, recommended for new teams to do. Just see what people are flying, go see what they're doing and try it yourself, because it is very not hard, but it takes some looking into to really get yourself set up with your own kind of thing or your own kind of twist on a thing while doing points and still making it work effectively. But either way,
And
it usually always will fall into a category of a style anyways, so.
and once you get into like comp crafting, there's a lot of stuff you need to consider, like the amount of mids. Do you need any C-bows, remote C-bows, tracking comps? And you also need to think about the ECM profile. Like for example, if you look at the Arrival team, it has one, like couple Galente ships, but it's mostly MR. So if somebody brought jams,
It'd
all
have
the
to be all
Galente
of one
jams
type.
would be on the Oneros. So basically you want to be as like mono-racial as you can.
And here's another interesting thing too, just to add to other things you think about. You most of the time will want ships that don't require you to use cargo space, so you can throw cap boosters in there for your team as well. You know, there's you don't think about it as I'm just fitting myself a good solo ship. You need to have your ship benefit as many team members as you can, while benefiting yourself as much as you can too. Like there's a hefty balance that you need to have between, you know, supporting every player to make them the most effective as possible in as many environments or in the environment you want to be with that comp as possible at least.
Now, from what I
Alright.
understand, there's also rules. As we went over the points, there's also rules as far as fitting your ship, right?
Yes. So only T1 rigs up to Tech 2 modules. You can only fit one Rapper, including the Ansels. I guess you can fit an Ansel Plus and normal Rapper. Only remote Rappers on the Logi ships. You can fit remote Cap. One.
Actually, you can fit as many rappers as you want on a ship. The rule is you cannot fit more than one ASB rapper.
Okay, yeah.
So you can do double T2 rep battleships if you wanted to. Like double rep Hyperion is legit, but like it's sometimes just not worth doing that with all the damage that's on grid nowadays.
All right. I'm going to show the my opinion. I don't know. Do you think Truth Honor Light barcode is the best or the other Volta?
Wait, is that all that's left?
No. We got plenty, but I want to do one of the big ones now. We're about to take our intermission. We're about an hour and 15 minutes in. I want to do one more, and then we're going to do a Vedmax Scope Syndicate skin giveaway, and then we're going to do about another hour, another 4 or 5 matches worth, and then that'll probably be it for this one. But the question is, do we do this, or do we save this one for the end? Is my question. Is barcode versus Truth Honor Light worthy of saving to the end? I personally think there's another match that's better, but what do you think?
I don't even think this is a very good match. It's a B War against Max Jet.
It's a good match for a different reason.
There's a lot of reasons to like this match.
Yes, there's a lot of reasons. All right, we're going to go with this one then.
There's 3 matches left, right? There's 3 matches left?
After this, we've got 4 matches left, and then I can pull another one because we had a few extras from the other.
There was one I liked as well. You know the 2 I'm talking about.
We've got this one left. Then, well, here, I'll show you. We've got Doomsday versus No Vacancies, Volta versus Darkside. That's personally my favorite of this weekend. Exodus versus Platinum, Frat versus Bright Side of Death, and then I pulled in Templess versus Boundary. Boundary Experts.
I think we save this one for a little bit and do a few of the...
Okay, you want to do then Volta versus Darkside next then? I want to do a good one before the intermission, like one of the really good ones.
Just do this one then.
Okay, we'll just do this one.
If you want to do like a really good one, then just do this one.
Okay. But again, Truth Honor Light is probably one of the winningest teams, if not the most winningest team of the AT tournament history. I think maybe Pandemic Legion may have more wins than them. Correct me,
Hydra
somebody.
is fairly new. to be honest.
They won like 3 in a row, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay. But they're currently considered like one of the current team to beat, right?
Yeah.
They're the LeBron of the AT. And then with this comp, hold up. Before we play this, I want to point out their comp philosophy. You see 2 Blackbirds, 2 Sentinels, carries, and with a Confessor, Barghest, and Eos is pretty much the only damage on this team. You do have the Draugr, but I don't think that's more. The other ships are more for the killing role than the Draugr is. And then the Onero's keeping everything alive. This is very typical of Truth Honor Light. They've run these scalpel builds where a lot of freaking E-War, but not a lot of damage. But they're really good about putting that damage in the right places. And then Casper is flying the Confessor. Amelia is usually the Confessor pilot, right, Chad?
Yep.
And
But,
Amelia is probably the best Confessor pilot in Eve.
what I will say is, what's interesting to note for anyone who hasn't done a ton of looking into how things have changed, Dex is the captain usually of the Hydra team. Dex, I believe, took a step back this year from AT and just didn't want to do it, or something came up. So Dex usually is in the top end, and Amelia usually runs the low end with Casper as well. Casper does a good job with low end ships, so it's not like a big trade-off to put Casper in charge of the low end and Amelia in the high end, because Amelia also does fly bigger ships too. This team runs like a well-oiled machine. If you've never listened to their comms, go to Amelia's YouTube channel. There's some really good like videos on there, and you'll just see how well they work together. This is the team to beat. Like, this is the favorite.
Yeah, look at this control bar at the start of the match. Look at it. There's not enough room on the screen for how much they're going to have by the time it gets ramped up.
It'd be incredibly frustrating to fight that.
And the thing I was told was 2.5 times the size of the screen control bar is how much was available to them to use that match.
So, Brother Graham, to your point, Truth Honor Light, they'd put all of it on you. You could collect them all with them.
Just look at all those mods, all those E-War mods on the Barker team.
But when you put them in the hands of people like them, they communicate really well. They know where to put these E-War. Like, I bet they're calling out when the jams land, so they know when to start clipping into somebody. And they're focusing down Tugan in the VNI.
Here's what I really love this. Like, look, every single ship basically on Barcode is just fucked by some E-War at the end of the day. Like, there's just something that's just like screwing them in some capacity. It's really funny to look at. But that Oneros is just getting projected still.
They did a really good job of realizing with that much control from Truth Honor that you're not going to win like a war of attrition at range. Being that
Do you guys think this is I kind of like what Barcode did, right? With having a lot of good drone options. I thought it was weird though to go with double Vexor Navy. I mean, if that's the flavor they want to go, but I thought that was
What would they have taken? It feels like they need at least one, right?
E&I, not ban. Oh, it is ban. Not mine. But still, it just seems like I don't think that was their goal originally, but it ended up going that way. And I think
you think it was supposed to be double E&I, and they just plugged with VNI.
And I think that actually helped them. Was the funny part. Because, like, you can't control drones very well.
I think Rodiva is the thing that breaks B-War here.
Me too is off. Me too. Roll your face across the keyboard, pray to Bob.
Which was
And then
really
the
shocking,
Oneros goes down. Oh.
It's like Rodiva isn't good. But in here, when you have one DPS ship, it's extremely good.
And what was really interesting, I'm shocked they didn't just try to get rid of it off the gate. Like a lot
And this is the counterpoint to how Truth Honor Light runs. It's an incredibly powerful comp when one run correctly, but if one piece falls out of that equation, it just crumbles. As soon as the Oneros goes, both of the Sentinels just instantly pop. The Blackbirds are going to just start dropping. Like, at this point, Twitch chat was going fucking nuts. This was like the upset of the century.
The EOS for Barcode,
Mhm.
I don't think I've seen for the past like 3 minutes a bit of E-War land on him.
It's mostly
He had
drones,
scrim
right?
on
So
him
they're-
earlier. Yeah, he's drones and links, so he doesn't have guns. He doesn't like. He
Mhm.
doesn't need to lock. He doesn't need to lock anything because he can just
Mhm.
assist his drones to somebody. It's like E-warring him is a waste almost.
Okay.
What
that's
was
why the
really
EOS
funny,
is so
though-
powerful. But you see a lot of EOSs in this tournament because E-War is largely ineffective against them, except for maybe newts if you're trying to kill it. And to that point, if you can't newt it out, the thing is tanky as hell. You're going to waste a lot of time trying to kill it.
It's big AoE, skirmish, and armor links as well. So you don't have to bring a Magus. We actually had a comp, I don't know if I should say this, but we actually do have a comp that bans armor links, specifically Magus and Pontifex, to force the battle cruisers if they want to bring armor, and it's pretty good.
One thing I thought that was really funny was I was sitting with the guys on comms, and I immediately was like, I kind of want to see how this goes. And I was like, oh my gosh, like Barcode's bringing this, and I see, Truth Honor Lights comp land on grid, and the thing that goes through my head is, well, that's a Hydra comp. I was just, what? That's a Hydra comp.
I mean, that is 8 ships you have to control, which is extremely hard. A lot of them have
if
very
anyone's
good
gonna
drones.
do it, do it, it's gonna be Truth Honor Light, but it's
Yeah,
pretty hard to control all of them.
Oh, yeah,
It's
Han.
basically counter comp almost. To like,
Go ahead and finish your point. I want to talk to somebody in chat, though.
basically, if you want to counter control, all you have to do is bring more guns. Like, just bring too many guns to control. And this is what Barcode did, I feel like.
You know what? I'm not shocked, because what was talked about by the casters at one point was like, at what point do we see B-War? At what point do we see the pseudo-dad setup, max start setups and stuff like that? And I was really shocked to see Fly Killer the first round. And then I was like, not shocked to see this. I could expect the team to be like, if we face that, like, that's what you should just prepare for. Prepare for B-War, That's what you'd expect to see.
I mean, Hydra always either rushes or fly kills the first round, pretty much.
That should show you how much respect, and how good Truth Honor is, because, I mean, Barcode is nothing to, shake us together. Very good pilots, very good team. So, I mean, it's still an upset, obviously, but...
So I think any team outside of Tuskers or Volta beating Truth Honor Light is an upset. I think that those are the teams that, if it's not one of those teams, it's an upset. Like, that's just how they are at this point.
I was actually very surprised at the level of respect Tusker showed us in the first match.
Tuskers is really chill, actually, is the interesting thing. Like, they're... Like, that's what here's one thing, and it's not being an ass to anyone, but I do feel like sometimes the Hydra guys get a little cocky.
Oh yeah.
And I think that Tuskers on the other end is more mellow and quiet, and they do silly things sometimes. Like, a lot of their comps are very silly. Mirror Chiefs are really, like, weird theory craft.
The giveaway will be soon.
I love the theory craft thing that Mirror Chief does, so.
The comp we played against them felt almost like a best of 3 or a best of 5 comp.
Chad, Kipla is asking about Templars. Do you think Templars would beat Truth Honor Light?
I think.
Or would it be an upset?
I'm just gonna fucking play.
I would actually. Here's what I think. This year, upset as hell. I think Templars is underperforming this year.
I think Templars is just washed up. They've
I
lost too many of their good players.
I think nowadays it's a huge upset. Templars wins. I think the reign of Templars, back when they were like a guaranteed top 4 team every year kind of thing, I think that's where the line gets drawn, where you could say it's like barely an upset. Like they're not the favorite to win the match, like 70-30. They could win it if things go in their favor, but nowadays it's an upset. Like Truth Dynamite losing is just an upset, and to anyone almost.
All right, real quick. It's time to do, we're about halfway through the recap portion of this stream. So that means we're giving away another Vedmax Scope Syndicate skin. Quick change though, it's !Hammercock. !Hammercock to get into this giveaway.
That's amazing.
!Hammercock. For a chance at a Vedmac Scope Syndicate skin.
God bless.
This is beautiful.
You beat me to it. I don't stream until tomorrow. Or sorry, not tomorrow.
It seemed relevant now to do it for the AT.
Yeah, it's gonna be irrelevant by the time I get to it.
You know what's great though is like I said, whenever he's on grid, it's a huge like We actually played Boundary Experts in the feeders. And we're asking in local, where's Chad Hammercock? The whole, like, everyone, where's Chad Hammercock at? Apparently he got sick or some shit from eating some bad cheese or something. That was the joke. I don't know how serious they were, but it was pretty funny.
Hammercock and his cheese.
Maybe he should have washed better.
All right, let's give it one more minute. One more minute. !Hammercock in the chat for a chance at a Vedmac Scope Syndicate skin. Also, real quickly, we kept getting lost, and there's been people asking some questions about the mechanics, like, where was it? For who was that? It was Han asking about the MJD beacons work. Essentially, what you do is you click on it when you're really close to it, and it will teleport you 100 kilometers directly in front of of your ship. Whichever direction you were pointing when you hit that button is the direction you're going to go. So you got to be really careful with it. But if you use it right, you can set up really good strategic plays or get out of really bad situations. They're set up. There's what, 8 of them, and then the one in the center. Yeah, the one in the center, and then
8 plus the one in the center.
Yeah. They're kind of the corners of the arena plus the center of the arena. Now, the arena itself has a boundary that's 125? Huh?
Gosh, this is making me sick. Dude's on my AT team and doesn't even know the
I am first year into this. I'm still noob. That is the point of the stream. Do not judge me if I am not perfect in my knowledge. But yeah, so like you can't get too far away from the center of the circle or your ship just insta-dies. And then occasionally people will use these MJD or these beacons to do what they call like the edge of glory. If you know you're going to lose, you want to go out with style, you'll MJD out of the arena and see if you can get as far as you can. Asuralite holds the record currently, actually, I think. And Captain Riker.
First and second, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. It's Alyssa Hartsford, right? Alyssa Hartsford? Yes, I remembered. Let me get you the skin real fast.
Is I make jokes about you not knowing the configuration of the arena, and yet you never boundaried once during practice, during scrims, during anything.
I don't think I ever got close. I was too afraid.
You probably were afraid, dude. Yeah.
I don't think I ever got further than a beacon. Like, if I got too much further than a beacon, I was turning around. That, and half the time I'm lodgy, and if I'm lodgy, all I had to do was anchor on spoons. I never had to worry about ship positioning. I'd just let him do that.
Anchor is the way.
Uh-huh.
Brain goes in jar. Just fucking ride it out, man.
All right. We'll do one more Vedmax skin giveaway once we've at the end of the recap stream before we start the normal stream. We'll hide that for now. We don't really need a timer for the next one. Give me a second. I gotta hide shit.
Hey guys, I'm gonna hop off here. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you so much for coming. And we're gonna do this again next weekend, and then cross fingers, I'm gonna do a big recap sometime during the week after the AT is all over, so we can cover our favorite matches from the entire tournament. And again, that was Krimson, Serenity, captain of Deepwater Hooligans team. Definitely check them out.
Scrimmages.
Very good. Yes, but want to buy scrimmages with you?
Want to buy more scrimmages?
If
Wait,
teach
it's
us.
over? What are you talking about? It's not over.
More practice. More practice.
All right.
Have a good one.
So next, let's do Doomsday versus No Vacancies. This was day one, about midway through the day. It's a little messed up here in the beginning, but they will fix that. So this was the Lashak Absolution comp versus a whole bunch of TDs, double arbitrator, and then I can't remember if that was a flagship or not.
What teams are these?
It was Doomsday, I'm pretty sure is red. Give me a sec. Yes, Doomsday is red, No Vacancies is blue.
No flagship.
Okay. So No Vacancies got rid of that Mollusk carries combo. They did not want to deal with frigate size damps. Scimitar, because they didn't want to deal with Shield Rush, I presume, and then Barghest for the same reason. And then
Day one, right?
Yes, day one.
Yeah.
And then we had Blackbird, Curse, and Sentinel ban, so they didn't want to deal with TDs or jams. And then getting rid of the Guardian. I'm not sure why you get rid of the Guardian other than trying to lock him out of a armor comp or something.
Seems like an interesting move. Maybe Gita can give me his opinion on this. I feel like people like the Oneros more than the Guardian.
I know I do, because
I as well favor the Oneros.
Okay, so the Oneros gets bonuses to targeting computer or remote targeting computers. What does the Guardian get?
Nothing.
Just better reps or tankier in general?
It's a cap transfer bonus. Sorry, it gets a cap transfer bonus.
Okay, so which is pointless here.
Here's the thing. Well, just saying, people don't use remote computers usually on their Oneroses and shit. You might see someone feels confident about an extra mid. The reason you take an Oneros is it's just quicker and also can fit our SIBO or local SIBOs and stuff on it. Because the Guardian only gets 2 mids and it's slow as shit. So you can't dual prop it. You can't really fit a SIBO on it unless you somehow manage to get a really good cap transfer buddy kind of setup surrounding the Guardian. The slot layout really is the reason for the Oneros, which is weird. Why would you ban the Guardian? I don't like that ban, but
all the TDs coming out on the Lashak, on the Absolution, on that Prophecy. Newts on the Absolution. They get the Prophecy tackled.
it's really
For all those TDs, that Arbitrator's still getting chunked a little bit. But they're switching to the Deacon.
What's kind of interesting is like the lack of a control bar by Till Doomsday here for being an I know it's armor projection mainly, but like the Lashek's high is empty.
Yeah, what did it use its utility high for? If
I mean, who needs utility high? Lashek go burr.
mm-hmm. They get that Armageddon locked down. And the Deacon's getting neutered out, so it's not going to be able to help.
I thought Till Doomsday did a really good job with, even though they're getting, controlled by a huge control bar, they're doing a really good job utilizing all the control they actually have on grid. With all the webs they have. Like, they're doing a really good job at tackling as much stuff as they can right here and putting pressure on a lot of things.
Both teams tanking really well, holding their ground, 2 minutes in, still no ships down. Looks like there's like a pretty dense brawl there.
And then you just see like those arbitrators up at the top. It's like, I don't want to be involved in this shit.
Now, what's up there with them other than a whole bunch of drones?
I think
it's the Magus.
Yeah, Magus is a Deacon, and then the Barghest is down below.
Yeah.
I mean, this is very much a Till Doomsday type of comp. They really do like the brawl in armor.
Yeah.
Like establish the brawl, then use the
You know,
cruisers to
it's-
go around.
What I also like about the comp is it's not like a full commit to brawl. Like there still is the option to be like a the range, but they did like choose the brawl. Like that damage bar is thick. And for a thick damage bar, that Geddon's like really holding. Barely, but like longer than you'd expect.
I'm slightly sad they didn't kill the Pargest. Would have made our job easier.
Yeah, right. If this match had went a little bit different.
But yeah, we should have fucking rushed. Just go with the ham rush. That was the plan.
Ham rush is something.
But got cocky and wanted to bring the flag.
You know, that's the thing. Like a lot of teams, like a lot of people who don't do AT realize the amount of thought process that goes through a team selecting a comp for a match is just absurd. Because there's just so many what if we could bring this is an option. I want to bring this. I think this is going to suit us best. Well, you don't want to project this. Then you got to think about all the bans and like play the head games. You know, there's a lot more to it than just the fight you're seeing on grid.
Staring at all those armchair generals in the chat trying to say people are bad. It's like, I dare you to come out and try to do this shit.
Oh my gosh, dude, the amount of freaking generals you see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at me. Like about not even just about AT, but just about like casting as well. Like casters get a lot of hate.
You know, I may be critical of individual plays, but anybody who puts themselves on the line to be watched by 5,000 people, was it this weekend? And to put this kind of money on the line?
5,250 viewers.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you can criticize. I think that's part of it.
Criticizing's one thing, but people sit there and shit talk people to no end, like you're getting vulgar about it.
Here's a good input on it, right? If you screw up, this is just how I feel, and people have different ways about it. If you want to be an AT, you do have to be a little bit thicker skinned. People are gonna see you screw up, and you just
Art
need to be a better
Gravy!
pilot.
Hashtag art for
Sometimes
partner.
you just need to be a better pilot, you know. And I hate to say it, because you're on a big stage in front of everyone, but like, you learn. You make mistakes and you learn. That's all that matters. You will screw up.
You need to have some kind of ability to take a mistake, learn from it, and move on. Like that's.
Like here's a good and I obviously Ghosty knows how we all feel about the group called Snuffed Out. I have so much respect for Newt Michaels because he turned around his first match of the feeders and burnt his rapid heavies on the first clip and was not effective the rest of the match in a B war setup with no damage, and they lost the match because of that. Turned around within 20 minutes, went to the Eve Discord and put a meme of his face in a burnt out module. That's like, to me, like that's amazing to be able to go and do that.
Yeah, made a Teflon. And then look at how far they made it. You know, they came back and they got into this. They got into this weekend. You know, spoiler alert, a little. You know, unfortunately, I think they're out of the tournament now. But they got a lot closer to an AT ship than we did.
They had a very good bounce back year after getting memed all last year.
Yeah, redemption from the Deimos comp.
The fucking Deimos comp.
Deimos.
Dude, someone mentioned that they said my name on stream when I was like, because of Snuffed in the Deimos situations and stuff like that, which I thought was really funny because like that is probably one of the like archived funniest matches of all time. As we sit here watching this still close match, 32-27. Well, I don't know if it's really close anymore. Bargios versus
It's still close. I mean, they're only losing by 5 points. Yeah, the Leshak's on its way down, but
Like, kill a Barg. Quick.
or just kill whatever's tackling the Leshak. Or is it the Barg? It is the Barg. Okay, never mind. Duh.
Barg or the EOS.
I thought it was the Vexer.
I actually love doing the bans because you have to like think so many things and like, are you banning yourself? What comps do you leave yourself open? And like, what threats do you need to ban that like fit enough comps so that you actually have like options if they happen to ban something? Like, do you have the ban dodges set up and ready? Because this is on DQ, right?
Yeah.
Just so much stuff.
Azura, jumping comms. You want to, Azura, come chat.
Tell us about your AT experience this weekend.
Don't
You
rub
just
it
sound like
in.
you're going, here, boy. Here, boy. Come
I've
here,
been trying to get Azura to come and do these with us since I started, but he's usually busy. There he is.
Oh shit!
There he is.
What's up, dudes?
Hello.
How was your AT
No way.
weekend one go for you?
Oh, I lost some points today. This weekend, I lost some points. How's the point situation with you guys?
Oh, I'm zeroed out. I kept voting for underdogs and didn't get a whole lot of points for it.
I may or may
some
not
good.
have lost all my points when Truth Underlight lost.
Oh,
Because I thought it was a free. You know,
that
Someone
was a
lost
big
like
upset.
300,000 points, right?
No, someone bet 300,000.
Yeah, I lost-
on barcode to win.
Oh.
that's a lot of skins.
Yeah, someone
Collusion.
basically used an alt.
Collusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost all of mine on Volta, I think.
So want to tell everyone what is the you would know better than me. What is the record for the farthest boundary in AT history?
Isn't it like 230 or something?
You hold it. You would know.
Wait, what? No, I don't. No, it's
I'm pretty
it's
sure
it's Azur and Argent. It's not Asura.
Oh, god damn it!
It's Azure.
Oh, it's an imposter, Azura.
Yeah.
What a fake.
See, they had me convinced that you held the record.
I thought you
No,
also
no.
held it because they keep referring to the person. It sounds just like you.
Yeah, no, it's Azure. I could go for it. I'll go for it next year though. Yeah, it's
I
a
was gonna
goon.
say you want to go for it.
Yeah.
Do it
Surely.
off the gate of a match first thing.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Just like
Overheat hyena. Throw for content.
You know, I kind of wish someone went for the boundary record the one time during Captain's Cup when CCP accidentally dropped Quaif all over the arena.
Okay, this
Wait,
one.
what? What was your,
Quaif all
what was your
over the
favorite
arena?
match, Ghosty?
We haven't played it yet. My favorite match of this weekend is Volta versus Darkside, and we're saving that one for last.
Oh.
And then the upset of Truth Honor Light versus Barcode was my second. We played that just before the intermission. The
Yeah,
next
that was
match.
pretty nice.
The next match we're going to do is Exodus versus Platinum Sensitivity. I messed up a little bit and didn't hit the record button quite on time, but nothing had really died, and we were only 40 seconds in by the time I did, so I didn't bother fixing it. This is, again, from towards the end of day one. Just taking a look at the bands. Again, the ENI band for Exodus, because it's a good ship, and it's point reduced because of the Galente theme. Stork seems like that you're trying to get rid of a particular kind of burst, but I don't know what the Stork specializes in.
Dorkin, Bifrost,
Info.
Shieldbox.
Okay, and then Curse because it's a curse. Loki, I'm still not entirely sure why you ban a Loki. Unless you're trying to kill a fly catcher comp or something like that.
Loki good at Fight, Dash, Rush, Shield. It does good in both.
Hey,
but usually
Art,
you
if
see
you want to
it
come in
fight.
too, seriously, hop in comms. I'll drag you in if you can't see us in the live lounge. And
Yeah,
then
Loki usually means you're afraid of shield rush of some kind. There are some good like shield kite variants with Loki, but it's usually just like a bigger rush thing.
The double Sleipnir Loki combo.
Yeah, or even like Nighthawk Loki. It's really scary. Really scary if you don't have enough control.
all right, we'll go ahead and start this.
By the way, Azur, you like all the
Oh wait, hold up.
upsets this week? There's a
Someone
lot.
SO'd.
Yeah, it was like 50% upsets today.
Like
I-
I was really
Oh, what the
happy
hell
like
is
to
that?
see.
That's cool.
I was like going through it with some of the guys. I'm like,
Oh no,
out of
you're
the
getting
teams that got
blopsed.
like top 8 last
that what
year.
the blopsing
Only 2
is?
of them are in the winners bracket.
Yeah.
3 of them are in the winners
Cool.
bracket right now.
Oh man.
Didn't y'all get top 8 last year, Lulz?
Yeah.
That's why I was like, oh man.
The blobsting has happened. That was cool.
First isn't-
What was that
Odin's
big
in the
lightning
winners
thing?
bracket. White Flags in the
So-
winners bracket.
Huskers.
Tuskers is in the winners bracket. Voltal is in the losers bracket. Truth Honor Light's in the losers bracket. Temples is in the losers bracket. Y'all didn't make AT. And then what's the other team I'm missing? Platinum Sensitivity.
Platinum Sense, yeah.
bracket. And they're in the losers bracket.
Oh, that was from this match, right? Or is this?
No, this
Oh,
is
this
day
is
one.
winners bracket.
This was Saturday, so
Oh, okay.
This is Saturday's. I think this is the first match between the teams.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is where Plat dropped, if I remember correctly.
I was just like
With the losers.
absolutely shocked by the amount of upsets. Like
Wait.
the winners bracket, you would never expect the teams that are in it.
losing an auger, but killing a carries and a Vexor Navy, then going for the Aneros. Just muscling through all the TDs out, and still the damage is just.
All the damps out too from that carries. Like everything's just
Like it's like the arbitrators aren't doing a damn thing to stop. Wonder why. I think with all the TDs on them, or maybe it's because they're just not far enough
those
away.
damps.
Too many guns.
Too many damps. They shut down one of the RBs entirely.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't show you how many damps they're putting out, but yeah, it's most likely that only one of them.
There's
It
only
is
there's
putting out
one
damps.
damp. There's one damp thing on the arbitrator, and a carrier usually has 3 or 4 damps on it. So like.
They're
that
also
guy doesn't
TDing a
have lot.
confessor, which is always
Useless.
never a good time. But he's probably like rushing down the RB.
He's
so-
probably the only thing that's close enough for him to lock. Like he's that arbitrator is like a waste of 7 points right now, being controlled by a 5-point ship.
I like the amount of maulers we've been seeing.
Honestly, Newt Mauler for 4 points is like just so good. But also, I've been running like the gun maulers is kind of funny to me. I kind of like
No.
seeing that. I kind of like seeing it
That's a
because
big
it's funny.
no.
I don't like it, but I think it's funny.
I mean, it is funny, but it is also brain dead.
I flew a beam mauler in scrims like a week and a half ago.
I mean, if
And,
you're gonna bring guns, just bring a confessor. It's 4 points.
You can actually get like a pulse mauler to not do bad, but it's still
Yeah, but
like,
it could be a confessor.
yeah, you can do a lot more with a fusser. A lot more different things.
Yeah, Newt Mauler is one of my favorite options for a 4-point ship.
It is mine as well. Ghosty will tell you how he feels about it. He flew it
I
out.
mean, I enjoy it, but I still think a Vexor's better. But that's me being biased.
That's wrong.
Someone get me a fucking shot. I'm taking a shot of something after hearing that.
Wait, repeat it.
That
Buddy,
a
look,
Newt
listen, I got work in a
Vexor
few
is
hours.
just as good as a Newt Mauler.
God damn it, I'm gonna be wasted before work.
Big wrong, because Vexor
I
doesn't
mean-
have a resist bonus.
There are some people that
I
would
don't
agree with
care
you.
what the facts of the matter are. This is just my opinion, okay?
Listen, I think there's only one argument you can make, right? More
Correct.
drones. But like, I still don't think that's worth the HP.
I mean, the Vexor is a good ship, and it has its uses. Like we use the gap transfer Vexor. That's pretty good.
You know what I also like? Like if you pair a Newt Vexor and a Newt Mauler together, like that does work. But then you're just hitting 2 rolls. You're doing the same thing with 2 ships, and sometimes that gets a little overkill. So. God damn it.
Thank you for the resub. Shill. Kirk's
Also,
in
I
chat
don't-
now. Does he
I
have the
don't hate
Discord?
Newt Vexor.
Turks and chat, fuck yeah. That tasted good, actually.
Because like if you're trying to stay mono-racial within Galente, Newt Vexor is pretty good instead of a Mauler.
It's a good substitute, like if they ban them all and you like are diehard set on it.
But who
I
would
just
ban the
don't think
Mauler?
there's a reason to ban. Yeah, there's why waste a ban?
Yeah, but if you like expect control and you want to go mono-racial on Galente, like going basically a Mauler
Yeah.
with into a Vexor hull, works pretty good. We actually
Let's see.
switched our comp against Tuskers because they banned, I can't remember what, but we had to go and switch to an Amar variant of it. For
Yeah, I
some
saw a
the
lot of
ships.
people running Hecate's first day,
I saw that
which
too. I was
was
like,
I
I
don't
like
know.
that.
I don't know about that.
I don't like it at all, honestly.
Oh,
Even if you're going for multi.
We have the Hecate for because it has extra mid. It has a remote sensor booster.
Oh,
This thing called the Spitbull is pretty good too.
wasn't that the same choice as the Magus? Was that the reason for the Magus?
Yes.
The mutant Magus.
Mm-hmm.
The Spitbull is pretty good too, though. I
Not
mean,
an
unless you're
armor.
going rail. It's
And yeah,
better.
you got rails.
If you go rails, yes, but if you go like armor Spitbull for tackle, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, but the I mean, then you're just gonna lose your remote saber in like 10 seconds.
We have fairly good livability with our armor Spitbull.
Yeah, but in our control matchup.
Yeah.
Because we did kind of
Mhm.
expect Tuskers to bring control of some kind.
This match is this was the funny one, right? This one made me laugh inside
Mhm.
quite heavily because the one like you ban out Arbitrator, Crucifier, Curse, and Sentinel, and the Dusk is like they banned out every single tracking disruptor ship, and someone was joking around in like the back room when Black Bart said that a few matches before and mentioned the Pilgrim as like a meme kind of thing because it's not real to them, I guess. And then we just see double Pilgrim.
Yeah, we actually have like had Arazu as our bandods for our Lachesis.
Like
It
they're
works.
just not as good, but it's something, I guess.
No, it works.
It's
the comp
it's
works with it.
only one slot less, right?
Yeah.
One mid slot less.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot more than Crucifier if you left Cruci open. And
True.
the other team has to gamble like 3 slots to keep up with the amount of TDs you need, or GDs.
Mhm.
And that was something that was discussed by the Dusk after the match. Would you be better off just banning Pilgrim, Arbitrator, Sentinel, and Curse and letting them have to use the Cruci? You know, being very weak ship in general, like for HP as well. You know, T1. It's less points, yes, but you have to, like you said, fill all those TDs you want. Like a certain number of TDs you want has to be filled.
I mean, one of those oracles could be a medium gun platform, and then you could have a Confessor instead of the Malediction. That could actually deal with the Cruci.
I thought that was interesting. Like, this reminds me of a old style setup, like back before, I think it was like AT-15, where it would be like the double Abaddon triple Oracle setups like that. Like the really old, just like everyone used lasers.
It was pretty common in like AT-17 as well. I think that was the year before
Yeah, it was the year that it
dupes
died.
came in.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that killed it was dupes, right? You used to do triple Abaddon, triple Oracle, and then
Yeah.
whatever else you wanted. And like no one had scripted E-War, so you just like shit on everything. Even if they brought Sentis, it would be unscripted Sentis.
And you just sit there and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and hope you kill
Yeah.
more than you lose. That was actually like kind of funny to watch. Those kind of comps back in the day, or like the triple Scorp Navy comps before dupes.
Yeah.
Confessor
triple-
eating
the-
shit.
Back in AT-17, triple pancakes for 20 points.
That sounds cancerous.
That was probably, I hate to say it, like AT-17 was what got me into AT, but it was my least favorite AT to watch because like like 2 out of the 3 comps was always like triple Barghest because they were 20 points and there was no stacking penalty of duplicates. It was just really stupid to watch.
Really? The duplicate penalty is that recent?
Yeah. Last year was the first year.
Yeah, last year was the first year for scripted E-War as well.
Yep. Like
So
last
it
year
really
was a shit
changed the meta.
show. Like that's what got us in pretty good because it's like everyone else is like trying to figure it out, and it's our first year, so we're not like mentally blocked by the old days.
While we're talking about that, are there any other changes? It seems like they've been making pretty good changes so far. Are there any more that you think they need to make?
Yes, and I think it comes down to please fix the flagship issue. I don't like it.
What's the flagship issue?
Yeah,
for
what's
you?
the flagship issue?
Bar guests are 50% of the flagships every year, and I just think that there needs to be like they've done things in the past to make flagships a little bit more balanced. Like, please allow me to fly a Balgorn again, but don't allow me to fly Officer Webs on it.
Is that the
I mean,
only reason why it was
issue is more of a balance issue within the game.
is.
Because there's only
like, for example, why the rattlesnake is banned from being one because you could passive tank an entire grid.
Yeah. Well, they could just say no passive tank modules. Well, don't forget, like they could just that's what they used to do that in the past, where it was like what they did with the Balgorn at one point was you could not use bling webs on it. Like this year, you're not allowed to use bling resistance modules. So
Yeah, they made it so that you couldn't use bling webs in general. So Vindicator and Balgorn were kind of completely out. I think like
This was another one of
I
those.
think no Balgorn is fine, to be honest, because it's so powerful.
I don't dislike it,
but-
but I think like when you get rid of so many, like you get rid of the Lishak, you get rid of the Rattlesnake, you get rid of the Balgorn, like you're getting rid of a lot of flagship options. There isn't a lot of good options left. Like the Barghest is good, the Vindy is good. You know,
If
you're
you have
running out of
this,
options.
if you have the money, you go Barghest. If you don't, you go Armani or Windy.
Yeah.
I
The
got
big
another
thing for
question.
like Snake and Widow is like the resistance bonus. You just permatank an entire grid so easily.
What if maybe the idea of having a flagship altogether is a bad idea?
Dislike it because originally, Ghosty, back in the day, you were allowed to field these things called wild cards. And then there was a match where a team decided to field, you know, 2 AT ships plus another AT ship plus a flagship, and the other team decided to bring multiple AT ships, and the grid itself was worth 2 trillion-esque. And it just turned into a dick-waving contest of I have ISK and pay to win. So they got rid of the entire wildcard system and just said a flagship exists. So you can spend money, but only get a slight advantage, you know, for choosing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's a problem with having flagships. I just think that
Here's
if
my
we're
one
gonna see
argument.
Flagships, I want to see more than vanilla 3 flagships picked every year.
I worry that just having the flagships being in the scenario is a deterrent for teams that may otherwise be willing to put themselves out there. Maybe they could get through the feeder. They think they could get through the feeders, but they can't afford a flagship to compete in the live tournament.
I mean,
Because-
just like
Look
the
at
comps.
Zeke. Go look at
I don't
Zeke
think that's the
because
case right now.
I don't either. Go look at Zeke.
Again, I don't know for sure. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, look at Zeke. Like, I hate to say it, most like 3 flagship losses were under 4 billion-esque. It costs more to enter the AT than it does to buy those flagships. Like a lot of teams don't care about flagships for the fact that it can be blingy. Some teams really like it for the fact that you can dodge bans with it. Use it that way. It's a strategic thing, you know. You don't have to spend infinite money to be better than other
Yeah.
people. That's the whole
And
point of the AT.
It can be like a pay to win thing, but like also I mean, look at today. Wasn't there like a bunch of flag losses from teams with
Yeah.
very
We
expensive
had
There was like
flags?
7 flag
There was
losses.
one only worth like what 4 or 5 billion, and then we had one worth almost 200.
200. Wow.
It was worth 106 on
325.
Ezekiel. 106 on Ezekiel.
Yeah, but that was
325
wrong,
in flag.
right?
And
was
officer
the,
mods obviously aren't properly put on Ezekiel, but
Yeah, I think
I
the
think-
Hydra one was the 325.
Yeah,
flag.
Kiplo, you what were you saying? Like 180 something? I want to say it was Kiplo that told me or posted something in the chat.
those Estimo launchers estimated price are not even close to what they actually are.
Yeah, and
Like
the
you can't
Toby
even
Web.
get them. You can't even get them is the problem. Like you
Sorry,
have
the
to.
scram.
Yeah.
He says it looked like a 186.
What's really funny is like if you listen to a few of the logs of teams from back in the day, you used to be able to use abyssals. There's teams that have max roll Tobas webs, which are worth like 100 billion-esque before the roll. Like imagine rolling that kind of shit. Like I'm rich and I wouldn't even do that.
Imagine being willing to roll an officer module. That alone just seems fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, the
Yeah,
thing
to work
is
up the
that
courage for that, you got to smoke crack like right beforehand, and then you
if
just
it,
hit
like-
your hair.
Hey, want to sell 2 officer DCUs? DM me.
I mean, DCUs are, they like the
Risky
easiest
as
roll.
shit.
Yeah.
They're risky
Yeah.
as shit though, because people will say tanked if they see a single inch of red on it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. It only affects the hull hit points, so you can use a bricked vessel DCU.
Yeah. If it gives you like a chance of winning an extra AT cruiser, like it's always worth it, right? Like, because AT cruisers typically sell between like 150 to
It's
200
worth
bill
losing a flag
at the
for,
start.
It's worth losing
Like
a flag
that's
for
yeah,
any
that's the
AT.
entire flag straight away. Like it's an investment, right?
I feel like we haven't even been talking about this match at all. it's still really
What
close, even though Brightside's lost 5 ships. They still have their upper end.
Well, here's the issue though. Like the whole match though, they've just not had the damage to put Frat over the top. They
Mhm.
just never
Yeah.
have.
That's the
Jams.
risk with Deemer bad in comps. You just like if you get TD'd, you're done.
Yep. TDs plus the fucking jams on off.
I think our flag was 40 bill on Ezekiel, and I remember us spending 120 to buy the modules.
Yeah. Hey, I ended up making 10 bill on the flagship we didn't have to field, so I was pretty happy with that. Mind you, I was also running the second best webs on our Vindicator. As well as officer fucking blasters, because I didn't care enough to give a shit.
Yeah, we ran the second best web as well, one of them. And then we had 2 Cormac max tabs, which one of them we didn't field.
I went the actual interesting route with it and went with a Federation. Just
Yeah, we had a
'cause-
Fed Navy, but in testing I liked, and Karab liked more, having the range of the true answer on the second.
Yeah.
Because you actually save plenty of heat in your mids. And especially me, I had a bad habit of burning my SIBO.
No, I was like, at one point, I was like, I had an officer RC bow, and I was like, I like having this, but it's a Vindicator. I'll just get someone to give me an RC bow instead of a local officer SIBO. I doubt I'll need it, but we'll see. As I was also thinking, like, damps were in scrims, we still had a fair amount of damps on us, but I kind of didn't expect it to be like the big issue. I was expecting jams and TDs to be a bigger L for us than damps.
All right, this is the second to last one. Templates versus boundary experts. Now, this ended up having some trinkle bans. If you guys don't know what that is, if you double up on a ban, then both teams get an extra ban. And if they double up again, they get an extra. And if they double up again, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, this one was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then, so Templates got rid of Crucifier, Guardian, Curse, Sentinel, Onero. So the T2, they wanted to force them into Logi Frigs. And let's see. Crucifiers.
Actually, I don't think they were trying to force him into Logi Frigs at all. I think they were trying to force him into T1 Logi Cruiser.
Or yeah, okay.
It is Kingslayer.
Oh yeah, that's right. They want the easy headshot on the T1 Cruiser.
Also, the Deacon ban, I think, really allowed them to double down on that Cruiser ban. Like they said, oh, Deacon's gone, so both the like the T1 or T2 Logi Frigs are gone unless they double up. Now we got the Guardian. Let's also get the Oneros out of there. Now they have to bring a T1 Logi Cruiser or double their T2 Logi Frigates or go with a T1 Logi Frigate or they go Shield. And, Shield Sig, higher HP, lower.
And then
Kingslay.
And then banning Arbitrary Curse tells me that you're projecting that you really don't want to deal with TDs. Either that or... Well, yeah, TDs, because you don't have that on the arbitrator. You don't have newts on the arbitrator. Nighthawk, they don't want to deal with a shield rush or shield projection.
Yeah, Nighthawk goes either ways. It's just a strong ship to ban, really.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then
doesn't say too much, but I think this, especially the boundary experts bans, are like fairly obvious that they're gonna bring like battle cruisers and cruisers. Especially with the Abaddon, like that's the thing that really seals the deal, at least.
Here's something else. As everyone wants us to do, shout out to Chad Hammercock.
God bless.
Yeah, that's why I pulled this one out, just for the Hammercock.
And J1tah.
He did better in the other match when he was in the Hyena, but like.
I also want to point out, just from a personal preference, Kingslayer is probably my favorite comp.
Really?
I really do like it.
Rapid heavy.
I like breaking Kingslayers.
I don't know. I like the idea of 3 people having to. It's like ready, aim, fire. Like the idea of having to be very controlled with your fire while everybody keeps you alive long enough to do it.
I don't actually like the Oracle and the Boundary Experts comp.
I don't like it either, but I will say I do like the Oracle as a ship.
They lost that Typhoon so quick. Only got an Oracle and a Hecate for it. It doesn't feel like it was a good trade.
Yeah, look at the damage bar. It's like the big...
I wonder why they went for the Oracle first.
It's the easiest to kill out of all those ships, probably, besides the Augur. Maybe the Augur
it's the EHP, the DPS ratio, pretty much.
What happened in this match, right? They went for the Augur first, and the Boundary Experts Augur absolutely booked it right next to
the that's a good point.
Of those rapid heavy ships.
And they didn't want to have to reload.
Well, the Oracle is the highest DPS, lowest EHP out of that entire comp by far.
Oh, Nexecs are around the same, but it's just much harder to kill an Nexec because they're so fast.
Yeah. Also, they're only 7 versus a 10 point.
One of the scariest things to do in an exec is committing into a Kingslayer. Because if they switch you when you burn in, you're dead.
Yeah, it's GG.
You gotta do it at the right moment where it's like they're not gonna have enough in their clip to kill me, or I can pull out of their missile whatever's left in their clip range. Like you got to be pulling in and out properly, watching when, who, and how much they're shooting to
Yeah.
maximize your damage.
This match kind of highlights the big weakness of Triple Battleship Kingslayer, and that like you can kill Oracle, you can kill like a couple of their BCs, right? But you're only removing like 10% of their effective DPS. If you kill one battleship, you're removing 30% of your opponent's DPS, and it's all clip based.
And what else is the thing too is with the definition of Kingslayers, it's picking prime opportune targets that make the difference in a match, per se a T1 Logi Cruiser or an E-War Cruiser or something that really makes the difference. When you have that much damage ships on grid, killing a few ships doesn't make a difference. You have to kill a lot more things to make a difference. This was a big upset too. Watching this, everyone thought
I don't think
Tempest
it
was
is.
gonna win. I don't. I think Boundary Experts is a great team, but I think Tempest was kind of heavily favored.
I think
Yeah,
Tempest is overrated. They're good,
This year
but
they showed it.
not as
This
good
year
as they
showed
used to be.
I think they got
This year
really
they
good
showed it.
teamwork is why they're good. They may not be the most mechanically sound pilots, but they've flown together both in tournament scene and in the live game. We see 3 brand and half of those names on a daily basis in the war zone.
I
What's
think it's the
interesting-
opposite. They're very good pilots, but they haven't flown together.
No, I agree. Like with that statement, a lot of those pilots are newer name pilots, and I feel like Tempest has that like structure of like prove yourself and get in, and now you're in the elite class kind of thing. Like it's a different class setup between the lower end of Tempest and those top dogs, as you'd want to call them. And I feel like they've lost a lot of their true.
It feels like they're
carrying
rebuilding
tournament
the core.
players. Yeah, it feels like they're in the rebuild phase, which is kind of funny because I don't think they're bad for being in a rebuild phase.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
they're not elite. They're not elite like they used to be. And I think this match is a good like showing that this isn't the Templars. They are kind of in a rebuild phase. And I think if they really I don't think their team's bad. It's just a matter of really getting those guys working together and taking that step back to where they were, because they have the knowledge in their captains. They have the dairy crafting in their captains. It's just getting everyone up to speed who's new.
And,
Boundary
it's
Experts,
pretty
on the
hard
other hand,
building a team.
It is. But then you look at Boundary Experts, and a lot of those names you see every single time you see Boundary Experts, and have been the names you see on Boundary Experts for years. So, and they're not in rebuild. They've been climbing slowly every year. But that's a big RIP to Templars, and they're in the lower bracket now too. Like just everyone's in the lower bracket.
Yeah, there's a gulag going down in the lower bracket.
I'm gonna Dosti, the bracket's linked if you want to pull it up
Ooh, cool.
after the next video.
Would have liked to take part in the gulag, but
Oh, are you? I would be staring at that thing dude, that upper bracket has so many question marks flying around right now. Like, if you actually go in depth and look at the lower bracket, how many teams are going to be eliminated early that are top contenders every year? It's insane. Who you have favored in the upper bracket is kind of not who you'd expect to be running the upper bracket.
I would have really liked to win some ships. But
I'd have really liked y'all to win some ships too, so I could buy them.
It wasn't meant to be.
And then for the last match, we have Volta versus Darkside. This was probably one of my favorite. I believe. No, never mind. Forget that thought. I was about to say something, but that was a different matchup thinking of. But we really liked Volta's comp, didn't we, Chad? It looks very similar to something we had theory crafted. I mean, it's their interpretation on something we were trying. I'm not trying to say they stole it from us, but the Leshak and Widow combined was something we did it with Leshak Scorpion and with Oneros instead of a Guardian. But the idea that the Widow / Scorpion is the tank and the Leshak is the DPS, keep the Leshak alive, and it just mows through everybody.
And they did a good job with once again, it's one of those kind of setups where you are really depending on one ship to be your damage and everyone else to just be the annoying menace that the other team hates seeing on grid, and it's a pain in the ass to get rid of.
Every time I see Volta, I'm always reminded of my first ever look at the AT. I really didn't care about it when I was a younger pilot, but about I think it was AT-14. One of my Alliance members sends us a video, and you've got everybody on stage, announcing the AT and stuff like that, and it happens to be a fight that Volta's in. So they're announcing that Volta's coming up, and all you hear is some guy go, "Who the fuck is Volta?" And so now every time I see Volta in the AT, the first thing that comes to mind is who the fuck is Volta?
Oh my god. I only have two thoughts when I see Volta.
Clip it. Who the fuck is Volta?
There's two thoughts when I think Volta, right? Thought one is, holy shit, can you guys stop getting second or third every year? And then the other thought is, holy shit, Ryload.
I mean, my boys didn't even participate this year, at all. So, we can't even talk.
Do it.
Yeah, you can always talk. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, that's what Twitch chat is for, right?
I mean, shit talking is a fucking... It's always allowed.
But just looking at the bans, so Volta gets rid of T2 Frigg Logi, forcing their opponent either into crap Logi or cruiser, which it does appear like they got the T1 cruiser out of Darkside for that. Getting rid of the Loki and the EOS. Again, EOS is just a big pain in the ass. E-War doesn't really work on it because it's like, fuck you, I'm a drone boat. Then
just get rid of all drone comps in general, basically, if you do the EOS.
Mm-hmm. And then
I feel like these teams may have screamed.
I thought the bans were weird from Darkside, though.
No, I think they clearly were targeted.
Yeah, getting rid of...
I don't dislike them. I thought they were very out of left field, though. People were like, wait, why is that big? The whole Twitch chat was almost shitting on Darkside, it felt like. They're like, why would you ban that ship? And
they just didn't want to deal with missile comp.
Get rid of,
from the looks of it.
Getting rid of both those really hurts, Ham Rush. It really hurts, heavy missile comps, too.
I legit think those were targeted. These teams either know what the other team has theory crafted, or they screamed each other.
Darkside ran that ban set consistently. Yeah. They ran it for all their games, I'm pretty sure.
Right, that's fair then.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I made a quick run to McDonald's of all places. They currently have a jalapeno.
The weirdest band set I saw.
Quarter pounder with cheese at McDonald's. So I had that.
Oh, I remember this match actually frustrated
Jalapenos don't actually do too much to me though.
What are you looking at here?
It's probably because I grew up eating ghost peppers and shit. We had a ghost pepper bush.
Yesterday.
Right next to the front porch.
Yes.
A couple of them actually.
I love this match.
Think
and like I said, the one reason I was like, I don't know how I feel about it is there's a single death that determines the match. There's one death. I don't know why it bothers you.
Sorry.
Maybe just because you hate, jams, but.
No, I'll explain it. I'll explain it soon.
Okay. I think I might know what you're going at, but.
Correct.
Hello.
Welcome.
Correct's here. Holy shit.
About damn time. Where's Elikon? He said he was going to come.
Had to do my rendezvous.
It's really hard being the least knowledgeable in the room.
No, that's why okay, so again, I know we kind of
Hey,
get
I'm
talking like everybody knows, but this is how me and Chad bonded. I didn't know shit at the beginning of this season. And to anybody who's wanting to get better at PvP, I highly recommend looking into getting into the tournament scene because you learn so much, especially with like ship knowledge, knowing what the ships do, knowing what fights are good. And then those skills translate into the live server, you know. I feel like I know what I'm doing in PvP in general just because I've been doing the AT tournament. And I mean, it's the only time in EVE that you get, in air quotes here, a fair fight. You get two teams on an even playing field. They get the same amount of points. It comes down to skill and theory crafting. You know.
Also, you have to stay and fight. That's what really.
Yeah, and you have to
teaches
stay and
shit.
fight, no running away. You know, so
Yeah, they turn off your Sino button, so it's really fucking hard for
Snuffed.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I was gonna say. It's really hard for Snuffed.
for the people who, you know, pine for a fair fight in EVE, look here, this is what you need to do. Now, I'm not saying Alliance Tournament, you know, we had the Captain's Cup previous to this. Cross fingers, we'll get another tournament between now and the next Alliance Tournament. I'm pretty sure we're getting at least
But
a
they
Captain's
announced
Cup. Yeah.
A-
Have they
AT
announced
is
it?
also-
You'll hear the announcement next weekend. You'll hear
Okay.
an announcement next weekend. for
Cool.
sure.
But all I know is the tournament bug has bit me. This is definitely my jam. It's very competitive. You know, I think everybody who plays EVE for PvP has a competitive streak that will mesh very well with this. It's just a matter of finding a team. Obviously, most of the major block entities, Goons, Horde,
Brain dead
Brave.
and bad.
I mean, they've been. Dracarys is doing really good this year. And
Oh,
that's her
Dracarys
first.
is fucking awesome.
Listen, if you want to join Goons, if you haven't seen their AT ad yet, it's literally a video CCP overload saying Goons has so many members that they could do internal squins. They could find 20 people together to fight each other, and that's literally the Goons AT Discord saying, "Sorry, scrims have been canceled. We couldn't get enough pilots again."
Mm-hmm. And to that point, the more pilots we have out there that are willing to get into this, because if you guys don't know, at least the first part of this tournament, it takes place on a special server called Thunderdome, where you get all skills unlocked, all the ships are free. You just hit /commands to spawn it. Now you can't go out there and make it your own personal playground. You're only supposed to be there for tournament purposes, but it gives you the chance to play around with ships and things that you may not be able to do on the live server. Now, the portion of the tournament we're in now is on the live server, so there will come a point where the skills on your real character do matter. But there are a lot of teams that just go for the experience in the feeders, because you get the skin. This year, every win, even in feeders, got you a pack of skins for your whole, like 10 packs, right? It's like 10 consumables.
Yeah, 10 skins per win.
Mm-hmm. And
You're gonna win.
Yeah, and because we're getting like 30 or so because we had 3 wins. Mm-hmm. And those packs are worth several billion. Like they're not going to be cheap because it unlocks like 8 skins. So like I said, if PvP is your bag and you're looking to get better, look around and see if anybody's looking. You may not be a starter or nothing. You may only be there for the scrims, but scrimming, you'll learn from that. That's all I really got to do, and I had fun.
I'm gonna give Kipla a little answer here. Kipla, there's people that I know who do AT with sub 40 million skill points.
Mm-hmm.
You literally do not need to have 300 million skill points. You just need
Punisher
to be
doesn't take
proficient in
long
a
to
role.
max out.
You need to be proficient in a role. If you fly a single ship good and the team deems that ship and you in that one ship as quality, they will
Newt Mahler. Newt Mahler.
Well,
I'm-
like the frigates, right? Like
5.
Ebor frigates is probably the easiest way to get into AT team. If you can master an Ebor
I
frigate,
personally don't.
you're in.
Yeah, well, if you can master it, but I think that's probably the hardest role on the team because you're so fragile. You see so many times the carries or the hyena getting popped right off the bat because they couldn't build any speed to avoid the fire.
I mean, if you're a half good hyena pilot, you will find a team.
I'm actually really interested in in the AT, especially with my interest also being in esports as well. I feel like that experience will do me some good.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what
I would go
direction
for
for
AT.
people like me who are just now deciding, you know what, the AT sounds like fun. Like, where would you suggest we start? Like, what group or
Here's
We're
what you do.
recruiting.
This is what you do, right? And Kipple is obviously on my DMs. I made a very good point last time I did this with Ghosty, and you know what? It seems that people agree with this, and I'm just gonna say how I feel on this. The AT is a place where people look at it as the best of the best get to come into this tournament and show off their skill. Yeah, the best of the best win the AT. Okay, they win. 31 other teams lose. How many other teams get eliminated in feeders? You're not always going to win, and it sucks. But going into the AT as a player who doesn't know either shit about Eve or has very little knowledge about Eve or wants to learn more about Eve or just up their game or try something different. The AT is an entirely different game than Eve to a degree. It's a different setup, it's a different style, and you either like it or you don't. If you don't like it, don't do it. Just tell your captain, sorry, it's not my thing. They'll understand usually. It's your first year. They can't expect the world from you. But you go in there and like you learn so much about different ships that you would never see on the regular server, or you see so rarely that you just don't know what it is. You learn things about ships you're not used to flying that you might get put into because certain ships are very good in the tournament setting and that can translate to the regular server as well. You learn different techniques that you just wouldn't think to see on the regular server, especially if you per se approach F1. You're not going to be able to always just approach F1 in the AT. So you're going to learn, you're going to broaden your knowledge, you're going to become a better individual pilot. You're also going to be a better team player from playing with these teams. Not to mention
Comms, you'll
comms.
learn comms. Yeah.
Another big thing that you take away from this is this is something I push with my team a lot. Fly something you're comfortable with and have fun. You're supposed to be around a team of people who get along, have fun. You're gonna have arguments, you're gonna have disagreements, you're gonna have potential screaming matches, people leaving comms sometimes. Who cares? You're there to have fun. You're around a group of people you enjoy being around. Do it.
I mean, to
Join
be
a
honest,
team.
we have the Anger Games coming up, so that's a really good way to like build connections, get into a team, and play.
If
Should
you're
be
looking,
less stressful than the AT.
agree. And here's the other thing. Ghosty per se, first year doing it. You don't have to be a starter.
No,
Seriously, you can go to a team and you don't have to be a starter.
I would say don't go into it thinking you're going to be a starter, especially starting out. Go into the mindset that you're learning, and then your second year around, who knows?
Here's the advice on the sense of how do you get involved. There's a Discord, the Eve Discord. There's a channel called Looking for Team under the AT area of that Discord.
Yes.
Put in there. Be confident what you put in there, right? Don't put it in there now. Put it in there when they announce a new AT. Looking for a team. Put whatever role you are the most confident or skilled into. Tell them your SP. If you say I have 50 million SP, I am a frigate pilot only. They're going to say, holy crap, this guy probably has 50 million skill points invested into frigates. That is enough to have a lot of maxed out frigates. If you do
Last year
good,
I
they
put
might give you a tryout.
Last year I enjoy feeding in small gang environment, and I found a team.
Yeah, just say this is what I do in Eve. This is my SP. This is what I want to fly, and I'm going to do the best at. And I'm sure that some team will DM you because you know how many teams I've talked to. They're like, I can't get enough people together for scrimmages.
To that point, I was waiting for a point to bring that up. Even if you don't start, just being there so they can fill scrimmages and maybe even do in-house scrimmaging, that helps these teams so much. So you would be a contributing member of the team, even if you're not a starter.
Here's another thing too. Teams need to have 10 guys available to do a proper match or scrimmage. Real life happens. We had a team of about 19 active pilots, and I multi-boxed 75% of the scrimmages because we couldn't get 10 pilots. Goons canceled a lot of their skirmishes from what I heard. Not
Just
to call
one?
out anybody, but hopped in 12 scrimmages in the last 2 weeks because teams couldn't get 10 pilots together a week before the fucking Alliance tournament. Teams will pick you up. Just be confident and honest.
Yeah, it was weird seeing Chad Flame on every fucking scrim.
Chad Flame is fighting for plug and play.
Yeah, scrimming 4 times a week, and 3 times of those you see Chad.
Just like, when did Chad join this team?
Chad
Yeah,
Flame
be
access
honest,
to every
because if you
single
lie,
clean
they will
sheet in
find
the
out.
AT.
Yeah, no. If you go in and you say, "Oh yeah, no, I got 180 million skill points and fly whatever you want," on Thunderdome you might be able to get away with it. On TQ, your skill points do matter. Yes. So.
I mean,
And
do you
like
have
said,
rigging skills to 5? The sensor comps, rigging skills, sensor comps, like AT skills are a bit different than normal.
Okay, we got like
skill
10
comps.
minutes before the 3-hour mark, so we got to start this match. But yeah,
But to close it off, just if you're looking, like, I'd recommend getting into AT. If you're new and you're on the like, do I do it? Man, like, it's for the good people. I don't feel like I'm at that. Just do it, because it's a different game. You're gonna learn more being on a team, even if you're just sitting in comms listening to scrims, than just trying to get better on the regular server.
It's a
Just
lot
sitting
easier
there
than you
listening
think.
and watching.
And once you
You'll get better.
finally do it, the only thing you're gonna think, why the fuck didn't I do this last year? So do it now. Yeah.
And you know,
oh, that
it is
Magus dried
time-consuming.
so quick.
It is time consuming. Don't get me wrong. Like, some teams I know, plug and play, 6 scrims a week, 7 scrims a week. Don't think you have to commit that hard.
Oh, poor Dadicos. He tried so hard.
But
Or you
You
like
got so far.
or if your car is stolen and you're still playing the AT, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
oh my god, dude, that was like the worst fucking thing ever. Where you're like, you didn't say anything to anyone until we were eliminated. You're like, yeah, my car got stolen last night from my garage.
Yeah.
Or the other day, I'm like, dude, you're playing AT with a stolen car,
Yep.
bruh.
Yeah, that was intense. I wonder if that affected me. Probably did.
So, you know, as a person who represents kind of CCP in the tournament, now being a commentator, just do it. Like, seriously. Even if it's not full time and you just want to, like, I'll sub in for you guys, you'll learn, you'll get better. I think you'll enjoy it. And if you don't and it's not your taste, okay. It's okay. Just try it. I think it's worth trying.
Sounds
What's
good.
more
to me.
likely to happen is it will consume your fucking life and you can't log on to TQ.
Yeah.
Between
It is
tournaments,
time consuming.
because- Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, it's good though. Like, scrimming and practicing for AT is probably like the most consistent. If you really like PvP, it's the most consistent PvP experience you can have
And the
in
best
Eve.
as well.
And the best, yeah. I mean, like, there's not many
Quality-wise.
times where you're like actually pushed to the limit piloting, and you're pressured to like position yourself correctly. Because usually it's like one-sided, or it's just you just have a better ship, or the opponents have more ships than you, and you just die because of it. But in this, it's like, oh, it's even. My
brain's always
piloting
working,
skill
too.
actually matters.
Your brain's
Wow.
always working.
God,
on
I
an
love
AT
this
map, too,
match.
it feels like, you know, versus like the regular servers. Sometimes you could let your brain not work at 100%, or sometimes you just don't care enough. Like, you have to care for your team, you know.
I really hate how the Magus died.
I just get volleyed out.
He burned to the side and just got blabbed.
Gosh,
That's Octo.
Yeah.
This match alone makes me love the Widow, even though it's not deemed a overly powerful ship for 25 points
I
sometimes.
probably shouldn't say this, but we have a set of officer jams in case the Widow is ever available as a flagship.
Just set aside in hopes.
Well, they were
In
cheap.
case of fuckery, break glass. Jesus.
In case of.
Okay, hold up, Chad. I want to
Oh,
really
yeah,
talk
wait,
about this. I
rewind
want
it a
to,
little
yeah,
bit.
we're gonna rewind this because this has been because this was the match where you guys said when one ship died, that was it. But it didn't pan out immediately. Because, okay, so Volta, it's taking them time to get the jams in place. They're trying to, but just because that icon's there doesn't mean the jam has landed. They lost the Megas right off the bat, so that's half their links gone. You know,
put your cursor where you can't see the bottom of the screen whenever you jump around.
Do we know which links they lost? Armor and skirmish, I see. But which
Yes.
armor link?
The Ponty is running, I believe, triple info and the backup armor, and then the Megas is running Skirb armor.
So double armor, yeah. That's rough. That's odd.
I think, well, they might not be running exactly that, but I think it's all the info's on the Ponty. Maybe an armor link. So.
Yeah, we ran the weird Magus with triple info.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
We needed the mids for remote Cebus.
All the jams.
We did the weird Ponty with triple armor, double info, 5 links.
Oh yeah, we did the 5-link Ponty as well. But didn't end up using it because it's a pain in the ass. Nobody wanted to fly it, so.
Really? I had 2 people they were like, "It's fine, put me in it." I'm like, "Alright, cool."
I mean, we had people who were willing to do it, but didn't exactly want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, being the Lynx destroyer pilot is never the most glorious. But you're kind of just like, you're just playing your life the entire time, hoping you don't get killed.
Yeah,
and that's about it.
Yeah, the 5 links especially.
If you have the link skills, that's a great place to be on an AT team.
No, it is
dog
not.
water. Just be links and try not to die.
No. What you do is you extract all the link skills before you join a team. That's how you get to fly the fun shit.
Because then you don't get to fly the battle cruisers if you do that.
Love it.
Yeah, but they're slow.
Yeah,
Just
they kill
go.
Vixer here.
Before you join a team, just remove all your link skills. Oh my gosh.
A really strong thing here to consider, like going into gems, is that the dark side team is almost exclusively yellow and green. So you only have so many gems that you can put on your Widow and Blackbird. So they're gonna be using like off racials on a lot of these ships.
What else was kind of interesting?
So the chance to hit is so low.
What else was kind of interesting is I think Darkseid realized this, and they were using that Carice to go back and forth between the Blackbird and the Widow, making it so one of them could not lock the ships. So that cut the jams in half. But like you said, if they're running all those different racial jams, they're only getting like 1 or 2 off at a time that are actually proper racial.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they just run multis?
Multis are
range.
So
No,
yeah,
multis
they
are
have
just
worse
bad.
range and they're consistently worse just because like you get like all round gems, but you can't get like specific gems. You really want like, because it's basically a gamble comp, right? So you want to max out into your reads. So if you think someone's going to bring a certain like race of ship a lot, you want to be able to be like, okay, I want that thing 100% gemmed. I don't
I
want
wish I
like
had
a
Elikon in here too.
50% gem.
He had the math sorted out too, where it is like you actually get a better percent chance to jam something. It's not by much worse to use an off-racial jam on something than a multi-spec.
Crap, I missed it. I was typing.
Wait, so how did the carries die?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's what I was so confused about.
Back up to where the carries died. I needed to see where he was.
I think he like burned his prop or something.
The carries got grappled and neutered by a Leshak.
Oh yeah, this is where the Leshak did the dip
just, like, in a
in.
bad position. Okay.
No, look at Annie. Annie does a really good play here.
Yeah, because like carries should be nowhere near a Leshak ever.
Yep.
Yeah, it should just be sitting like.
Yeah, he gets neuted out. I think he just like.
He gets hit with 1 newt cycle, turns off the prop. The grapple hits as well at long range. It's not effective, but when you don't have a prop running, that's enough to just make it so your speed gain is.
He doesn't need to hit very many times, you know. He just needs to hit a few times.
It just no, it was great because it's like you got jammed and grappled. and now
Because the
you're
auger
speed's
was
zero.
also jammed at that point, you know. So look at all the jams. So
And now all the jams are free without
Mhm.
stupid carry stamps. That's why I didn't like this match, but I liked this match because it was like that Carius was the only glory it felt like Darkseid could have it shutting off those. Like Azura said, you're shutting off
And it's
potentially
not-
half the jams off and on.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really shut down a Widow with a carries just because like they have fucking 1
And it's
million
also the
lock
fact that they
range.
needed the carries for the its damps, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the quad damp carries is enough to screw a Widow if Darkseid sits back enough. But
With 3 Seabos from Ponte and like all that kind of struff.
yeah, you could get
It struggles.
if Volta fit enough RCBos, which I would hope they did. They can do a lot to mitigate the carries on the Widow at least. But still, if like they're not constantly running the RCBos on the Widow, if it just shuts off the lock and makes them have to relock things, and then you just swap that to the Blackbird, at least you're being annoying enough.
Yeah, this is
No.
kind of the part that I get frustrated about. Right? Because at this point, Darkseid is in a predicament where they don't have any control and they're just getting run down by a Leshak, right?
Mhm.
So their obvious choice here is just to press approach on Volta's Guardian or Blackbird and kill it. Because they have Vigilant, they have like look at their damage bar. That's like at least 5k DPS. And look how much they're applying because they're burning away instead of burning it. And it's just one less shot. You can burn around it. All your ships are faster. But they just never do it the entire time, and that's what frustrates me about this match. Because like they just let
pick a squishier ship and just use the damage you still have available to make sure you can
pick an important target and trade it out. That's it. But they burn away. They're never gonna track unless they have webs on because all the low end stuff there is 10 MN. And they just spend the entire time like burning away, doing 0 damage. That's like less than 5% of their total damage.
And what's funny, like you said, they have a fair-sized bar, and that's the thing too. Is I think a lot of people don't understand when you run a comp like this, your goal isn't like you're running beams and rails. Your goal isn't always to kite. You are supposed to have the ability to turn it into a brawl and still do really good damage as a comp compared to most comps. Still,
yeah, like Darkseid is like considerably still like they still have like more than 70% chance to win this matchup right now, even though they're losing their org.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
should
could
use
kill
the
a Guardian, they could kill a Widow, they could kill the Blackbird, or they could
Yeah.
even they probably could headshot the Ponte Lynx off grid. Like, you know how much of a difference that would make too?
Yeah, I
Get a-
mean that
get a
just kill Guardian here, and then the entire comp would fall apart.
They
Because they have
probably need to kill the
Vigilant
Blackbird
webs,
first.
and then the Vigilant just dies here.
You
And
know what
then
else
as
is
soon as
funny?
Vigilant dies, it's GG.
Something else you'll notice here actually are they do shoot Ryload at the end of the match when it's like 4 minutes.
Well, I
way too
wonder
late.
if because where are all these jams exactly coming from? Are they from the Blackbird or the Widow? Are they forced to tag?
Both.
Yeah, they're cross jamming. If you commit to
Well,
one,
so
the other
the thing
is
is
going to
you
cross
can't
jam, but you can
even
probably still kill it.
Yeah, you can't really kill a Blackbird here because it's 10 MN, right? And like I don't know if you've flown like Nexec a lot, even on TQ, like if you're burning full speed away from a ship while trying to shoot a 10 MN or no prop ship, you're not gonna hit ever.
Yeah.
You have to get in range, sit still, and track.
Yep.
That's it. That's all you gotta do. And
Like,
then
look at
like
this
even the Guardian here.
eating it. It's eating it.
Guardian, he'll eat it for a while, but as soon as he gets trans and some rep bots on him, he'll just tank the
But
entire
like
comp.
if you committed to him per se with the Vindicator, which is faster
Vigilant.
than a Guardian is most of the time.
Yeah. Like they needed to use the time the AUG bought them to get the Guardian, to get the
Here's an
legit rate.
interesting.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. You bring a Vigilant, right? And I don't think it fits in this comp a ton. But like,
I like it.
if
I
you
actually
have
do.
a single fucking web on that thing, that is great. If you do make that commitment, like the way they flew it was not good. I like it in the comp if you're gonna do what it does best and use like per se a single web on it to hold something down if you have to go to brawl mode. They just never turned on that like We need to switch
Yeah.
to close range ammo, do damage, apply to stuff, versus they weren't doing any damage.
And they commit here, and a lot of them get screened. But like we saw it previously, in that like even if you get screened and held down, you still have so much damage in these comps that like as long as you trade out the thing you want to trade, you just keep shooting things and they die. Like if they kill
Like, they
guard
still have
here,
good
Widow dies
damage here.
instantly, Blackbird dies instantly, Leshak dies instantly. It's
They
just,
still have really
it's
good
GG.
damage here too. Like, look at that damage bar. It's still higher than Volta's. Like
Yep.
the gray bar is still higher than Volta's is, and they have a fucking Leshak, you know, which is the bulk of their damage. Obviously, they lost what Confessor's the really only other true damage boat, I guess you could argue. And it's not even like actually meant as a damage boat.
Actually, I think Dark Side should have just rammed, like played this like a rush from the start.
I don't
Yeah,
disagree with that.
they can
just
do it from
maybe
the
headshot a
start, or they
Widow.
can like, yeah, they either do it from the start, or they just like wait a second to get around Leshak and then go in.
They could have,
Especially when they got the Magus.
They could have headshot a fucking Widow. Widows are not very tanky in armor ships.
Yeah, Widow is
They're
like
not.
a little spooky to kill, just because cross gems and Guardian up. But yeah, like you could, like given enough time, you can definitely kill a Widow.
But like you said,
I mean,
too,
if they kill the
Blackbirds-
Leshak, it's the match is done. That's all.
Oh, that's the only ship you can't kill.
Yeah, that's
just
like the
'cause-
hardest ship to kill.
Yeah,
just
true.
because jams,
Do
and
cross jams and
logic.
Guardian.
I mean, if you manage to get rid of, like, if you got rid of the Blackbird per se, like just got on him somehow, maybe.
I mean, what you really do is you just burn away the pull the Leshak and blink at small stuff, and then you go around the Leshak and ram the Guardian.
That's the thing is if they and this was done in a different match actually. Volta lost a match where Parkbank got or not Parkbank, blah blah. Ryload got damped, and he was sitting too far away, and they did a hot swap onto a Redeemer because they pulled in Ryload because he got damped and he came in, and then they swapped off of the Redeemer, shot the Guardian to push him back off, and then immediately hot swap back to a Redeemer, heated damps on him, and they flipped a Redeemer because of it. Like,
Yeah,
if
that
you
was
did
basically
something
like
that. But catch the fucking Guardian would have been cool.
Yeah, that was basically the same matchup, right? Like they had like a couple BS with like Volta had a couple BS. All of their damage was concentrated. Same as that comp that we just saw. With really strong Logi against Doctor or Pseudodad, whatever they're calling it, abandoned father comp. And yeah, they just they just like instead of like running away the entire time at some point. I mean, they tried to run to an MJD beacon and got caught. But it's at a certain point you just have to be like, oh, I'm just clicking approach
God.
now. I'm gonna apply all of my damage.
Oh
Want
god,
this.
thing.
One last
Want
thing
this.
before we close this out. Still my favorite moment of this AT.
Come on!
I had to basically stop eating. Was there a
Oh, no.
So I could MJD.
We got this.
Show me the magic.
1v1 me at the sun.
Hopefully it's not too loud.
All right.
1v1 me at the sun.
The audio didn't come through though.
Oh, did it not come through?
No.
Hold up. Let
Oh
me try
wait,
it again.
maybe it did. Never mind. It's muted. I haven't muted. That's why.
I think my
Dude,
favorite moment was.
We can do it
playing
again. We can do it again. I don't mind doing it again.
Nope. It's all right. It's all right.
we literally officially made that
We
a
got
song
this.
for ordinary AT-XIX. I'm so happy about that.
Oh, both of
Oh,
your
yeah,
matches were.
yeah.
Or I thought
Yeah,
your
that did
first
come
match was
through.
really good, and your most recent match were really good.
Jakara's match is still, I think,
Control.
probably the best match of the feeders.
Actually,
Just 'cause
hate
it came
the
down to
last
nothing.
match we played because wasn't the match we wanted to play.
Mm.
Too many mistakes. And like
Yeah.
a bit unlucky on the warping.
Like I said, I was rooting for you. It was entertaining to watch, even if it didn't turn out your way.
Do you want to pull up the brackets?
Yes, let's
Before
pull up the
you end
brackets
off?
so we can show what next weekend's going to look like. And then we're going to do
Okay.
the Vedmax skin giveaway.
The Tuskers match was like insanely good to play.
We played Tuskers our first round of Captain's Cup, and I was pissed that we got that drawing, and I just was like, oh, we get one match, guys, but let's upset them, screw it, and then they won the whole fucking thing.
Where are you linking it?
It's
You're
in
telling me.
fucking Kirk. Kirk, did you link it to me or did you put it in our Discord?
Like what?
The
Can you just throw it
brackets.
in Twitch chat?
Oh, the bracket.
It's
was
in
the
AT General. It's an AT
General.
General. Just scroll up a little bit. It's like 4 messages up, 5 messages up or something.
Let me open it up. I can relink it.
Let's see. What if I don't know how to read?
There we go. Found it. Well, it's. I was trying to avoid having to do it through Discord.
Yeah, that one. Yep.
It's
Okay.
like looking deep into the brackets. If you look at
I
the
just can't
winners
believe
bracket,
Barcode is out there. Like, what the hell?
yeah,
That
you
is
look at this
a
winners bracket.
shocker.
This is top 12, I believe, right? Top 12 if you're in the winners bracket. Barcode, I don't think anyone expected. Jakaris, this is their first year, mind you. Tuskers and White Flag, which I think were expected, but they have to play each other now. You got,
Yeah,
and then the
this
winners
was
of those
the
play each other.
expected final, and it's happening in the semis.
No, it's not really the expected
Not
final.
necessarily.
That's not really the expected final at all, actually.
I'm guessing Odin's really favored over Fraternity, and then
I would actually question the hell out of that because Frat is expected to be a real underdog this year. But I do think like Odin's will probably be given the favor still, but I don't think it's as I think people are going to give a little too much credit to Odin's and like not give enough credit to Frat still.
How do you guys feel about Hidden Leaf Village Ninja Assassin Squad Esports? I know it's a mouthful.
They
solid meter.
probably are the team I want to do the best out of the winners bracket right now. I
like
them
the name.
I like them because I get along with the Basilisk pretty well. Because he's on the desk. And the other reason, I will never get over our match against them last year.
It was really funny watching the casters try.
is it just me or is
say
there a
that
match
mouthful.
missing?
Hey, I said it right the first time, alright? I casted that match!
I'm sorry, back at the desk, they were,
That's great.
They were taking a little longer.
But you got Darkside, Truth Honor, Light, Templess versus Till Doomsday, which I love that matchup because it's the old style of Mar versus the King of Kaldari for tournament teams. And then you
The
got
Marshall Triumph.
You got the Boundary No Vacancies. I think Boundary's looking like a good sneaky pick for the lower bracket.
Was there supposed to be something here?
No. The Platinum Sensitivity Laserhawks match is the first match of and then Volta versus Pandemic is the first matches of
Okay, so we didn't quite get through all of them.
But yeah, basically I wish they kind of well then you'd have to add the 2 more matches to
Was Darkside top 8 last year?
I think they were, yeah.
I think they
Okay.
just squeezed into top 8.
Yeah, it's crazy to see so many like high tier teams going at each other like
that lower bracket's
at
gonna
this
get
point.
filthy. That lower
Yeah,
bracket's
it's
gonna get
a
really
actual
filthy.
slog. Like THL versus Darkside is rough. They'll have to fight against Kelsif at some point.
Here's the interesting thing, right? Odin's versus Frat. The loser of that has to play. Scroll down all the way to the losers bracket. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone.
Yeah, they're literally jumping into shark infested waters. If they bomb
you're
out of
looking the
winners
loser
at this
plays
point.
Templess Doomsday winner, and like Hidden Leaf Arrival plays Darkside Truth Honor Light winner. Like
I really wanted to be in that lower bracket.
Well, here's the other thing: Boundary Experts versus Novak. The winner of that game gets stuck playing fucking White Flag or Odin's or Tuskers.
Yeah, I wanted the Tuskers rematch so bad.
Dude, like Boundary, I'm rooting in the lower bracket. If I had to really hope to root for teams, I'm rooting for boundary experts from the lower bracket to do really well. And I'm rooting for Hidden Leaf in the upper bracket of all the teams I've seen. I just like those teams in general. Do I think they're the greatest of teams? No, but I don't like the idea of seeing like, oh, these guys are top 8 every single year.
So do you have an idea of what the finals is going to look like based on what we see so far?
Without making a hot take or with making a hot take? Like, if you want a hot take prediction, I think we're going to see Tuskers go to the finals. And in the lower brackets, I think Truth Honor Light falls out of the lower brackets. And we see Volta make a stable comeback. Do I think that's actually going to happen? No, but it's a take I want to take. Anyone else got a cool prediction?
I think it's
I
gonna be
agree with
White
you. I
Flag
think
Hydra.
whoever... Sorry.
White Flag Hydra finals, I think.
You're like, wait,
Yeah,
like,
I
well, do you want
mean-
the fucking Hydra A team and Hydra B team? Cool.
Well, of
I think
all the
like
teams in the...
Tusker's White Flag is going to be the most interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then lower bracket, it's probably like Volta and THL making it all the way to the end, highest likelihood.
That's the highest likelihood, yeah.
You think
Yeah, just 'cause,
Darkseid has a chance in hell?
They do. They have like consistent legacy players, but like I think their overall like meta rate of the entire thing is typically worse than Hydra's.
Actually,
And Hydra's
not
just
you.
like
I'm
Hydra's
not
just works
sure
a
they'll
lot harder.
make it past Templars though.
You make a
Who?
good. I think they will. Temples is kind of in
THL?
rebuild mode. Truth Honor Light will make it past Temples easily. That should be a
Yeah.
clean.
Templus's raids are probably worse than Darkseid's, I think.
I want to rewind to something you just said, Azura. I think the Dusk has done a piss poor job of this. Do you want to explain legacy players? Because they show it on the screen, and I see in Twitch chat people like, what's a legacy player? Like, no one knows, and the Dusk never explains it.
Oh yeah, legacy player just means like someone who's been around the bush, like it's there's a lot of value that comes from like experience in this. Just because like there's so many like people are like, "Oh yeah, that person's just probably just a better pilot." But there's so many layers of knowledge in this game. Like knowing about certain comps, certain matchups, like knowing if someone is likely to bring this kind of comp, there's this amount of comps that can potentially outdraft it. Right? It's like
Here's the question though: what's the difference
the
between
knowledge
per
diff is
se?
huge.
What's the difference per se between a legacy player and a veteran player? Like, where's that line get crossed though? Like, is there a certain level where it's like you become a legacy player, not just an AT veteran?
Yeah, I think it's interchangeable, but like legacy just generally means that you've been consistently playing it for a very long time. Like
So,
veteran,
yeah.
like maybe you've like done a couple ATs in the past. A lot of old AT players, like PL players and like old school like people who've won the Alliance Tournament have just like stopped playing ATs in general, right? And they'll come back every now and then, but they don't really play. They don't really keep up with the meta. Legacy means like you've been keeping up with meta every single year. You've watched it develop. You've developed all your comps around it, and
So
you have
basically-
like this catalog of knowledge.
Yeah, basically, then a legacy player being a player who is consistently performing year after year in the AT and showing up and being a person whose name is meant in an AT history every year,
Yeah.
versus someone who's just there
Like-
here and there and occasionally or
Yeah, like Hydra has Kadesh.
But
That's
he's
he's
a
a
leg.
force to be reckoned with. But
Ganesh decks when he's actually playing versus this year not there at all.
yeah, Casper's a legacy player. I think like
Delmar.
Brain has done a. Oh wait, no, Brain's only done 2 or 3, right?
Brain's only on his third. Amelia's not a legacy player yet. I
No.
don't think. I think it's one more year and Amelia can be considered a legacy player.
Delmar
I
is
personally think it's like
definitely a
4
legacy.
years in a row. I think it'd just be like almost relevant for 4 years in a row. I think before the desk considers you legacy. Like if you're on your fourth, I think it's 4 years of actual and you can't just be like, oh, 1 year in, 1 year out, 1 year I took off. It's got to be like 4 years. You as a player are in ATs, and it's not just like O2 exit every year.
Yeah, I'd probably even consider it more than that personally, but I don't know if there's like an exact amount of time. It's just
That's what I
like
was wondering if you knew, because they never explained it properly.
'cause
I don't
I
even know
think
like what their effective definition of it is.
yeah, because
It's
there's like
very
a lot of
loose.
people who have played for years, like years and years consistently, and they've just like never really kind
Made the
of gone
leap.
beyond. Yeah, they've never made the leap, and they've never like developed their own knowledge of the meta.
But that's if
I
you're
don't know.
looking to see how good a team is, just look at how many legacy players they have, and you can probably get a fair adjust of their knowledge of tournament history. You know.
Yeah, like, and that being said, like Darkside and Kels have their fair share of players as well. Like Darkside has Vidra, some Vidra members in it, I'm pretty sure, which
Yeah,
is
they do.
like the old second half of Hydra Vidra.
But you really think we're gonna see a freaking Hydra A team B team finals?
No, I'm coin flipping on Tusker's White Flag.
I think
And that's a
Tuskers has a
50-50.
year this year. I really do. I hope they do.
I don't know, dude.
I like Tuskers.
I mean,
I think there's a 50-50 chance that their theory crafting is just broken, and not in
I
a
think
good
like
way.
no, the
they
Tuskers is
Oh,
known for
wait.
having absolutely weird theory crafting.
What
That's just their
yeah.
staple.
what if, hold up, humor me for a second. What if White Flag wins the Tusker match, Barcode wins this, and then Barcode pulls another upset? You think they could? You think Barcode could do
No.
it again?
No.
I think they could.
I think listen. I think they could against White Flag. I don't think they could against Tuskers. And the reason is
I'm
is
talking
where I
White
don't
Flag
like
specifically. White Flag specifically.
I think they can beat White Flag because that's Hydra's scrim partner, and they do internals, and they don't scrim anybody else, and they only see each other's bullshit. And if they can beat Truth Honor White, I think there's a chance that they could turn around and beat up on White Flag. Tuskers, on the other hand, I think Tuskers bring something wonky, just like, you haven't seen this before. And
Jugshot thinks it's going to be Odin's Call and Barcode, but can it be unless one of them would have to go to the losers bracket and come back up?
I think like a lot of the comps that Tuskers is fielding this year is just they're vulnerable to getting stat checked. Which is just like if you run it down on them, it looks like they'll die, but I don't know. I think there's definitely like a 30 to 40% chance that Barcode progresses. I think it's closer to a coin flip. Potentially.
You really, you think over? So if they beat Jakaris, you think they actually have a chance to make it to the semifinals of the upper bracket?
Yeah.
It would be the semifinals of the upper bracket if they beat Jakaris and then beat the upset team. That's the semifinals of the upper Barcode.
I think like the meta that has been showing is that if you just execute very high DPS comps correctly, then you can win against like legacy style control comps.
I don't disagree with that at all. I like that analysis.
And like it's yeah, I think Barcode has shown decent execution, and then yeah, I just want to see how Tusker's White Flag goes, and then we'll see.
Here's
I think Tuskers is either gonna have like really good theory crafting or really weird.
It's always gonna be crackhead theory crafting from Mira.
That's what
but
they're
will
known
it work is such a coin flip this year.
This is what's weird, right? Is Tuskers does the weird theory crafting, but and I will use Casper's words, and like I said, a lot of the Hydra guys can get a little cocky sometimes. They rate Tuskers on the same level as themselves when it comes to their theory crafting and ability to, execute as well. Most teams are either executing teams or theory crafting teams. Tuskers does theory crafting in a different way, and it's really weird and wonky, but it works. And then they execute that thing, so the team's like, I don't know what I'm looking at, and then they're executing this thing that teams don't know what they're looking at, and it just throws a lot of teams off balance. And that's
Like
what they do good at.
Like you were talking about the Ferox and whatever comp, the Moa.
Yeah, Yeah, the shield rail comps that were
Yeah.
brought. I like the threat comps. Max threat comps are really cool. I just don't think people expect that ever anymore.
That comp was an emotional roller coaster.
The shield
was.
max threat comps are
Holy
just
shit.
absurd. Here's an interesting one. Sorry, maybe you could give me your input on this. When do you think we stop seeing the pseudodad max threat comps? I don't think we
No.
see it to the finals.
There's literally no end to it this
Yeah.
year just because
Really?
of point costs. Yeah, point costs and ship variety.
I know there was a
I think
discussion
it's
when
very
that
viable
ends.
and well, like I think like seeing because Truth on Our Light brought their flag Apex, right? And they
Mhm.
and like a max threat went into that and
Wiped it.
did pretty well. So it's like what kind if that's like an Apex comp that you would usually see like top 3, top 4, like when would you assume that it starts running out? Because there's just so many variations, right?
Yeah. And that's where things are interesting too, is that it was discussed in the producer channel a little bit about like what do we see Hydra bring in the beginning of the tournament? When do they progress into B War, and when do they if they progress out of B War, when do they actually progress into something else, and what's it gonna be? Like that was a
Yeah.
big talking point, and a lot of people did mention the fact that like I think the whole first 3 days we're gonna see nothing but this, max DPS cruiser comps, and it's just gonna be
Yeah.
all of that.
And
I'm
like
interested to
because
see the last
there's
game
been a
meta.
lot of there's been a lot of like end game comps. So Volta brought the Widow comp, which is most definitely an end game comp. And they'd like we were watching it just before, like they had definite chances to lose. Like it was all in Darkseid's hands whether or not they win or lose. And then the second Volta fight, which was their like control nude comp, like ended up losing to it as well. And that's like I mean I wouldn't consider that an end game comp, but like it's still pretty nasty seeing like all this control stuff that you'd usually
It's
see
not
during
a
legacy
nude bro
bans.
comp where you're like that's not gonna do well.
Yeah, that's like high verbal
And
APM
one
gaming.
thing is
How did you like our Vargur comps?
When
If
I
the
saw
Lashak had
Vargur
lived.
Vindi, when I saw Vargur
Not
Vindi,
Lashak.
I was like, I was praying on a 1400 Vargur, dude. I wanted to see those fat volleys.
I thought about that in the off season too. I'm like Vindy Webbs plus Artie Barger. That's fun.
How did you like the
It
first
seemed
comp
pretty cool.
against Tuskers?
I think like you guys
What was-
definitely had chances there.
Oh yeah, it was super tight until it snowballed. When
I
we
thought-
lost the Black God, I think.
What was weird is I watched that match and then the matches today, and Tuskers obviously, is a top team. But I was like, holy crap, the only team that actually looked overly good that was like a top 8 team, like solid at every game they've played so far, is Odin's. I was like, Odin's is actually, and I don't think Odin's has gotten tested great either.
Did
So-
Odin's lost their flag, right?
No, I don't believe they did. No.
Truth
There
on Our
was
Light
one-
lost their flag.
Yeah, they
Someone
lost
lost their flag to Boundary Experts. Who was that?
See, that's
No, it
another
was
reason
Odin's.
why I wonder. Okay, so Darkseid
Yeah, it
still
was
has their
Odin's.
flag, correct?
That's something like that I hope CCP puts out. It's just like a flagship check, because there was a lot of fucking flags lost this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, Day
Boundary
2
Experts
flagship
all in.
losses?
You guys were so close to killing that flagship at the end, Jita.
I
In your
know.
last match.
I know. We failed a capstick drop.
Oh really? Is that what happened?
Yeah, the window was dry.
No.
Yeah, it was a misclick, I believe. But losing the Luckies at the start was just rough, because we had no options to play the match.
Nah,
We just had to
I
go
also,
in.
there was a lot of cheap flagships this weekend too. But also, like, the 106 on Z-Kill flagship made my day. Like, that, I was jumping.
Was that
They
in
lost
fact
that
the biggest flagship kill to date? or just
Like
the
I said,
stream, or this
I think
tournament?
I think it goes back to that is probably one of the most
Yeah, I
expensive
think so,
flagship
Ghosty.
losses. That's one of the most expensive flagship losses to this time period. Like I said, there was time periods where abyssals were on ships. Don't forget. So those things, some of those flagships were worth like half a trill. You know, based on rolls plus abyssal values.
Yeah, and there were like
hard to
AT
value
ships
those.
fielded back in the day, which are like 500 build plus. I guess they're not technically flagships, but wildcards, right?
Yeah. No, we were going over that actually before you came. There was a match back in the day with double Cambion, Atana, Flag Scorp Navy versus double Morature.
Yeah, that was the two trill grid, right?
Yeah, it's like a fucking 2 trill grid, and it's like, who's got the bigger?
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, who's got the bigger ISK dick? You know. It's like
Oh,
nowadays you don't do that, and like I said, also, you know, back in at one point you could field fucking like abyssal webbed ships, like those abyssal webs. Like I know Truth Honor Light have a like max roll Tobas abyssal web, I believe. And they're saving it, like you just said, save it for the day you break the glass when the rules get changed or something. But like those things are worth like, there's almost no value to that. Like whatever you ask for, that's what it's worth because it's so good, and there's no replication kind of thing.
real quick. All right, so we had planned for a 3-hour stream. We've been going for 3.5 hours, so I'm gonna wrap this up. We're gonna do the final giveaway. Again, it's ! Hammercock. I'll switch it back after this stream, but for this one, it's gonna be Hammercock one more time. And then once we do this, I'm going to shut down the stream, reset to my normal setup, and then start the stream again. We're going to do PvP, probably in the Warzone. I think I'm going to go ahead and rejoin Galmill for the night. And then towards the end of the evening, we may go and do our home front farm and listen to an audiobook until we're sleepy. Does that sound like a plan? No, Galente. I am not in Minmatar. Galtech is best tech. Especially the E and I after that buff. Oh my lord. 24-kilometer null range is insane.
What?
Oh, you've been flying,
you've been flying
my,
my
gamer fit? Hell yeah.
Asuralite best tech. And it just happens that most of the time Asuralite is also Galtech.
You know,
True.
what's really
Need some
funny
more,
is I
need
still
some more
fly the
buffs. I want to
Azura
fly
rail.
a Scythe fleet issue.
Oh, you're
You still fly the Nexet?
I still fly your rail exec, the low
Oh
brow.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's a fun one.
That thing is like one of my absolute favorite things. The one thing I have like been shit at though is like fucking flying like 3 people at a time and like trying to get a last minute tackle on something and then just getting fucking slinged by the other dude. And I'm like, fuck, I know this is gonna happen. And the problem is I'll run it with snakes one day and not snakes the other day, and I'll be like, oh, the snakes fucked me more than they helped me in this situation.
No. Yeah, you gotta
And,
get
like,
those abyssal points on there.
I have the faction point now. I bought some new ones with some better faction points because I was like, I'm sick of this shit.
Oh yeah, speaking of, what do you guys think of the AT ship stats that just came out? For the cruiser specifically, I don't really care about the frigate.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's a fucking Exec on steroids.
Hell yeah.
That's the exact guy most want to be mixed together.
No, it's an Exec with a tracking bonus and a long point. For a long scram, rather.
Well, it's a hick, or a hack, so it's like a Dynamos.
No,
It's
here
got
we
all
go,
the
guys.
exact bonuses, you know. What I really like the most about it, actually, is the
1 second. Was that you, brother?
Oh, I was saying that here we go, because the true believers of the Hammercock are going to win.
Oh man, off by
I'm
one.
excited.
Recon Cav, congratulations. What was that in-game name, sir? We are in the middle of an ad break, so he might not be seeing it.
I like the drones that it has, having 100 total bandwidth and 50 out. I really like that more than like the plate
Yeah.
thing's cool and the range is cool. Like the
You like-
freaking disrupting range is absurd.
You like 50 M3 drones over 50 km scram?
No, not over it. Hell no, not over it. But it's just
A
that like
tracking
extra
bonus on
bonus
an
where I'm
exec?
like, what I like is like, oh cool, I have a cargo hold to run ECM drones and damage drones and extra ECM drones because it's a fucking AT ship, dude. If you're
Yeah.
not running ECM drones, are you doing it right?
Have
That's
you
why I
ever had
hate
the
the
pleasure
fucking Gary.
of flying an exec when you have 3 tracking comps remotes on you, and you just actually hit everything? That's the AT ship.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for putting up with my ignorance and
Oh, no, like I said,
educating me a little bit.
You
questions
did
are very
better
welcome
than
here.
Ghosty. You did better than Ghosty day one.
Oh yeah, I better see you in the Anger Games next year, by the way.
Get in the anger games, shit. Maybe
I mean,
maybe
I
how
hope
far
so.
out
sponsor
is that?
2 teams. I'll sponsor 2 teams this year. I don't fucking know.
We don't know
I'm
exactly.
already talking to the guys in my alliance. I'm like, guys, are you know, because they're like, oh, we should have done AT this year. Oh, oh, it's always so much fun. And I'm just like, well, I mean, if you guys want to do AT stuff, like, or you want to do competitive play, you want to have fun in tournaments, like, I'm here for it,
Guess what? This is what I tell everybody. If you have a team and you can get 10 people on a grid some night and you want to see if it's something you like, DM me. Let's put a scrimmage together. I will scrim you. And I will see.
Yeah, you will scrim us. You'll just log in all the characters. I love
No,
it.
I'd be there to help him.
I'll put a ping out. I'm pretty sure if I wanted to, I could just be like, hey, wants to do a scrim. If I can get a little bit more people on board for it, I'm sure I could get 10 people and be like, hey, if you actually want to practice something, we could use last year's rules for this or whatever. Do a scrim, be like, hey, practice, come up with something, test the field. There you go. I offered
Yeah.
it to Plow
appreciate
and they
that.
said, fuck you, basically. But actually, they didn't say
Also-
fuck you. They said, come join us and make us an AT team.
Those smaller comps are a lot easier to get into because they're usually lower player counts. Like Captain's Cup was 6v6, and I think Anger Games
7v7.
was
7v7,
7v7. Yeah, so for your first tournament, like I definitely recommend getting into those side tournaments because then you can, just tread the water, check it out. Before having to commit like 10 people, 14 to 15 people constantly for 10-man scrims.
And out there, crafting also is a lot easier, a lot simpler.
Yeah.
Especially with Captain's Cup.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Captain's Cup there was
Was
one meta.
dumb.
Listen, listen. Captain's Cup was really easy. Okay, you can only pick a battleship, a battle cruiser, a Logi, a destroyer, and a frigate. All right.
And then you fill all
Yeah,
the mids
that
with
was a
damage.
And then you
lot
just fill all the
easier.
mids with damps. Exactly. You just fill the mids with damps, and that's it.
Oh Jesus! All right, guys, I am off. Thanks again.
Ditto.
Much
Yeah.
love. Hopefully, we can come together another time.
Oh yeah, we will be doing this again next Sunday after the finals, and then again, I'm hoping to do a big recap of the tournament as a whole sometime the week after the finals. So stay tuned for more details on that. Again, everyone, thank you so much for joining me on comms and helping me keep everybody entertained. I'm going to go ahead and shut off the stream for now. Give me about 5-10 minutes, and I'll be back live for the PvP portion of the stream.